Good morning, Raptor Freaks. Lexi Otts here. It's Wow Wednesday, and I'm wowing about basketball in general. Yeah, it's August the 20th. It is the middle of the summer. Nowhere near Summer League, nowhere near preseason, right in the middle of the summer in Canada. And well, basketball is thriving. Basketball is in the news. Basketball is making waves. Yeah, not everybody up here is taking notice of basketball, but people like us that love basketball are never been happier in the summer because there's so many options to watch basketball right now. There's so much basketball going on in Canada right now. Hockey heads' brains are exploding because of Globl Jam, because of the WNBA in Vancouver, because of the CEBL playoffs, because of FIBA qualifiers around the world in Africa, Europe, America, Asia. People have basketball to watch right now, and they are. All these Raptors basketball camps, Nabatia Superfan basketball camp, 905 basketball camp, Andrew Jones, yeah. AJ Lawson, Brampton basketball camp, Scotty Barnes basketball camp, Emmanuel Quickly basketball camp, Grady Dick basketball camp, basketball camp, basketball camp. This is a lot of basketball. The market is there, it's growing, and things are happening. And I'm proud of it. We've come a long way, Canada. You know, in some ways, for a sport that was invented by a Canadian, a sport that had its very first professional game in Canada, we have not embraced the sport of basketball totally correctly in the history of Canada. No, there's been a power struggle, so to speak, with hockey and basketball to a degree. Hockey people insecure, hockey people worried, hockey people, oh no, Vince Carter, what are you doing? Oh no. Yeah, there's some of that. There's some of this nationalism in hockey and saying, oh, hockey is the Canadian sport. Hockey is the true Canadian sport. And I don't have any time for basketball. Basketball was invented by a Canadian. Basketball had its first professional game at the Maple Leaf Gardens, the New York Knicks versus the Toronto Huskies in 1946. Basketball has been intertwined with the country Canada all along. It's just that in some ways, hockey was more popular. Hockey was more in the prevalence and the face of everybody. But basketball has come around, and the popularity is undeniably rising. You couple the popularity of basketball rising in Canada along with the popularity of women's sports rising, and you get the Toronto tempo. I'm excited for this next year. I love that Teresa and Monica went to Vancouver last weekend, and they got on the mic, and Teresa said, guess what, Vancouver? We're going to be here for 2 regular season games next year in the inaugural season of the Toronto Tempo. That's badass. That's basketball growing. People went crazy. I know when I went to the WNBA in Canada game, the Chicago Sky versus Minnesota Lynx a few years ago when they had it at the Scotiabank Arena and they sold it out. The buzz, the feel, the energy for the WNBA in Toronto was palpable. Ed Rogers III, fuck you. Fuck you, Ed Rogers. Fuck you, Ed Rogers, you idiot. Yeah, in some ways, I'm glad Ed Rogers passed on getting a team like the Tempo because then he would have the monopoly on sports in Toronto. And in some ways, I don't want Thanos getting all the Infinity Stones. And in some ways, having that electric blue, Bordeaux colored team, independent of Ed Rogers, is attractive for an alternative, not a monopoly on all sporting teams in Toronto. If he really pisses me off, well, we go straight on full tilt with Toronto Tempo. That's right. Larry Tannenbaum, Kilmer Group, Teresa Resch. So it's just like there's options. There's a lot going on. The CBL, an amazing explosion of interest and popularity for this league. I'm telling you, man, I've been turned on to it in the last month. Going to a couple of CBL games this summer has been fantastically fun, and I've enjoyed it immensely. And I am excited to watch the CEBL playoff games this weekend. The Canadian Elite Basketball League is a Canadian professional league that is growing and it's getting more esteem. And as the great players of Canada come up in the ranks, they're going to have more opportunities to play professionally because of CBL and get their name out there, and they're going to get better. And it's going to grow in places like Winnipeg and Saskatoon and Vancouver. There's going to grow the interest in the basketball. There's going to be young fans that grow and love it, and families that are like, I'm a Winnipeg Sea Bears family, and we love going to Winnipeg Sea Bears basketball and CBL. And we're going to the championship weekend this weekend. And we can't wait to watch the games. It's going to be awesome. I'm going to do a watch along for the CBL games this weekend. We'll do a watch along, especially for Scarborough on the Discord. Special privileges for members of this channel. If you're a member of this channel, you get access to our Discord server. And when there's games going on, I will do watch alongs with people on that channel. And, I want to watch the CBL playoffs with you guys this weekend. That's right. I want to watch Scarborough versus Niagara River Lions this weekend. I want to watch Winnipeg versus Calgary Surge. Yeah, and if you'll join me, hopefully you will. You'll come into the Discord server and we can watch the games together, and you can hear, my insight and commentary and jokes and goofy shit that I say during basketball games live during the basketball game. It's fun. It's fun. We've been doing it with the FIBA games recently, and it's been a lot of fun hanging out with you guys, watching basketball on Discord. And I hope some of y'all will join me in watching the CBL playoffs this weekend. Yeah. Globl Jam is an amazing annual event here in Toronto that is usually held at the Mattamy Center, but at other locales too sometimes. And, it brings the world here. It brings teams from the United States and Canada and other places to compete in a little mini tournament. And usually it's for the youth. It's for the underage players, not the older players, but they do show up. In fact, this past weekend at Globl Jam, most of the Team Canada Olympic team that went to Paris, the men's Olympic team for basketball for Canada, showed up at the Globl Jam on the first night of Globl Jam. And it was a thing, man, because these guys are heroes. These guys got Canada back to the Olympics again, finally, in men's basketball. And they had a pretty good showing. They didn't get the medal round, but you know what? They did pretty damn good otherwise. It's baby steps. They're going to get there. Heroes welcome for Lou Dort holding the Larry O'Brien over his head. RJ Barrett, Jamal Murray, Nickel Alexander-Walker, Zach Edey, all those guys. They came, and Dylan Brooks, they came and showed their faces. And in some ways, those guys are symbolic of the rise of basketball in Canada also. Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, come on now. He's the MVP. He's the champion. He's the finals MVP. And in some ways, he's symbolic of the growth of basketball. He is very symbolic of it. That at this point, the king of the NBA is a Canadian, and he's from our area, and that's symbolic right there. There's so much to this, guys. The growth of basketball in Canada. Listen, hockey people, don't be scared. You can have your hockey world too. There's enough room for everybody. That's the myth of scarcity. You guys get so scared and insecure. Oh no, basketball is getting more popular. It's earning more money. It's doing this, it's doing that. It's taken away from us. I don't know if it is. Maybe you should have an abundance mindset and be allowing for other people to be successful near you at the same time. This isn't totally a dog-eat-dog world. It's a lie that has been taught to us through the system of capitalism. This is a world where people can coexist and have good things at the same time. And, anybody who want to hold down basketball because they're protecting hockey, you're so full of shit. There are powers like that. There's powers that work in the Canadian media that think about this. Yeah, newspapers, TV stations, different things like that. Yeah, TSN, Sportsnet. Yeah, you guys in some ways have held down basketball, but you couldn't totally. You've sent skeleton crews to basketball tournaments, and you've relied on other people's coverage to piggyback off of. You haven't given the full attention to the basketball in the proper way like you would hockey. And we know that. We see that. It's separate, but not equal. Let's just put it that way. It's separate, but it's not equal. We know you don't treat our team equally to the Leafs and other teams, like even the Blue Jays. It's fine. We don't care because we're badasses. And the Toronto Raptor brand is growing, and it's more and more profitable and more attractive every year, even in losing seasons. People love the Raptors. And you can't stop that runaway train of popularity and growing popularity. In some ways, Ed Rogers, you'd be smart to lean into the economics of it and make as much money as you can. Because that's what you want, right, Ed? You want to make money. Well, Invest in your team. Get that second Larry O'Brien, and you will make money. Trust me, you will make money. Yeah, you will. Basketball in Canada is growing, whether they like it or not. They ain't going to be able to stop it. The genie's out of the bottle. Vince Carter did what he did. The genie's out of the bottle. You can't put that genie back in the bottle. There's no way. The Raptors won the championship in 2019. You can't stop that. Even the NBA couldn't stop that. So, yeah, it's here. It's arrived. It's growing. It's strong. And it's growing across the country. And I'll say this, don't be afraid, hockey. We can have a world for everybody. I want to respect the tradition of the NHL and hockey in Canada. I believe this is a big, important part of the cultural fabric of this country. But there's no reason why a sport that was invented by a Canadian and had its first ever game played in this continent, in this country, can't be having its place in itself too. And a lot of people may not like basketball. Let's not get twisted here because they're racist. Yeah, let's not even get it twisted. Some people, I mean, you could be on a dating profiles. You can be looking through and you'll see somebody and say, I love baseball, hockey, and football. And they don't put basketball in there. Sometimes I can tell when somebody's a little, racist. And, of course, the rise of the Raptors and basketball in Canada is symbolic of diversity. It's symbolic of immigrant populations here. And a lot of people are trying to make them to be evil and wrong and bad because they're ruining our continent and stuff like that. All this bullshit. Yeah. Xenophobia. Listen, this change is going to come. The things that are happening on this planet are somewhat cataclysmic. And with drought, famine, political unrest, people have to migrate. And people want better life. So they're going to go and try and do it. And that's what this is. The world wasn't getting all fucked up in different areas because of manipulation economically. Some of these issues wouldn't be happening where these people wouldn't even feel the need to move. But no, big business wants to deregulate, poison our skies, pollute our environment. And where people live gets worse and worse. They can't live there anymore because they can't grow any food. Well, they want to move to somewhere where there's opportunity. So migration is something that is just going to happen. When the world gets less and less livable in certain areas, people are going to naturally move somewhere else. If there's a political person in charge that they do not want to live under, people are going to move somewhere else. Migration is just part of it. In some ways, the Raptors symbolize migration and people of diverse backgrounds coming together and supporting a Raptors team. And I love that. That's diversity is strength. I very much believe in that. And that's why the other side's going to lose, because we're stronger, because we have more people from different backgrounds and ideas. And we have more of a brain trust and more ingenuity and more smarts and more other skills because we are diverse. That's just the damn truth. All right, there's my rant. Basketball's on the rise once again in Canada. It has been on the down low since 1999. And really since the Raptors started up was when it kind of started. And yeah, the world, maybe it was even the World Cup, the Basketball World Cup, the FIBA championship at the Dome when they decided to give us the team. I don't know. I can't pinpoint it exactly, but basketball has been on a rise pretty much since 92 in Canada. And I'm here for it. I love seeing the growth. I love seeing the things that happen over time. Hopefully, more due respect and time given to its allotted time that it deserves. That's what I say right there. All right, y'all. There's my spiel for today. Wow. Basketball is popular in August, in the middle of the summer in Canada. And I love that. I love that so much, man. All right, let's see what you guys are saying in here in the chat. Let's see what's up with our guys here. I see our wrench guys here. Isaac's first. He's saying pickup game at my house. Get there before it rains. You have a pickup game today? It was raining all day yesterday here. And it's still a little dreary and looking rainy out there right now. But we'll see. We'll see what day it is. It's like today. Yeah, well, I used to play in the rain, Isaac. I don't know. That never used to stop me. When I was a young man in my teens, in my early 20s, I played a lot of basketball. I used to play like 6 days a week, and I'd play like 5 hours almost every day. I was a college student. I had a lot of time. Either I was going to be studying or I was going to be on the court. And I was on the court a lot in that era of my life. And I didn't care if it was raining. I just keep playing while it was still raining. I mean, that's what Magic said in his book. Magic Johnson, Irvin Johnson, growing up in Michigan, he didn't let rain or snow even stop him from putting in his work every single day. And in some ways, that's what separated Irvin Johnson from everybody else, was that he was out there every single day, regardless of the weather. He was like the postman. Seriously. Isaac, I hope you have fun shooting around. I love that you keep it going at our middle age. That's right. That's right. Trevor J's here. Good morning to the Commissioner of Fun, Trevor J. I'm glad you're here this morning. You live good, and goodness will follow you the rest of your life. You live bad, you know how that goes. One day we all have to answer that question. What we did now, we were on earth for the time we got. Okay. Yeah. I mean, it depends on your belief system. If you believe in St. Peter and the pearly gates, well, there's some going over your resume. And well, a lot of people are failing on their resume right now if they're supporting MAGA and the really awful atrocities that they're committing to the American public and people. And, Judgment Day, if you believe in this belief system, will come for them. It will come for them at some point. Thank you for the words of wisdom, Trevor J. And I hope you're doing great, man. I'm glad you're here. Seymour's saying, if Kawhi had stayed, do you think he would have possibly went down as one of the top 15 best players to ever play the game? That's a fantastic question, Seymour. I appreciate you, man. Thank you for checking in from Calgary this morning in Calgary, Alberta. It's so hard to say because look, the thing about what happened with Kawhi after he left is he had a lot of injury. He had a lot of time where he missed time, and he was so good with us. And Dr. Alex really was a good synergy with him. And in some ways, we were really smart at balancing with him. The problem with the Clippers was Paul George is not reliable. He has not been reliable to me, honestly, since he was in Indiana. And a lot of it has to do with he's not reliable on the court as a player when he's available. And then he's not reliable to be available because he's not healthy. So they were in trouble because in some ways that Clippers team was too top heavy around those two guys and one other retired guy, or not retired, one other older guy like Westbrook or whoever the fuck. Just insert James Harden or Westbrook on the third spot. And you got flaky older players that are injury prone that, won't carry the team while they're missing. Often the Clippers would be missing all three of them and their team just wasn't good enough because they were so top heavy with their thing. Now with the Raptors, we had a more smoothed out talent over a group of people instead of having three old guys that are injury prone and stuff like that. Yeah, I think that we could have covered up for Kawhi's absences better because we had a better supporting cast that could pick up things. Like there were nights when Kawhi was on load management and Kyle Lowry was the man and led the Raptors in that championship year to success even when Kawhi was out. I think that we weathered the storm when he's out more. I think also I could say that Alex McKechnie would have made him miss less games. Maybe they tried to pressure him too often because they needed him so bad in LA to come back sooner, and then he got hurt again. Maybe we would have handled it a little more delicately and patiently and smarter with it, and he would have had better health outcomes and been able to play more in the last 5 years since he left Toronto. I mean, I could speculate on all that. In some ways, that's the key to him being more successful is him being healthy. And Dr. Alex did a really good job with him the year that he played for the Raptors. He had his best season as a pro in Toronto. I'm sorry. He did. He was at his peak in Toronto. Everything before was building up to the Toronto year, and everything after has not been as good. And that's just the damn truth. So I don't know. In some ways, Kawhi, you had a good thing here. You could have gone forward with Dr. Alex and the Raptors, but you didn't. And we'll never know. We'll never know. I don't know. I mean, in some ways, Kawhi's career has been a waste because he had so much potential to be in the upper echelon of one of the greatest players to ever play in the NBA, but he just wasn't there enough. He was hurt too much. He hurt his legacy and his character and his reputation with, some knuckleheaded decisions, really knuckleheaded, whether it's like getting into the problems with the Spurs in the first place, which was helpful to us, albeit, or just, not really. I don't know. He's a weird guy. He's an enigma. And in some ways, we'll never know. We'll never know. There was obviously a potential for Kawhi Leonard to be on the level of LeBron James in certain ways, but it never was realized. It never was realized. LeBron had durability, and he played way more, and he earned what he earned in the way he did it. And Kawhi could have been on that level, but he was hurt too much. Then in some ways, he made poor decisions with his uncle Dennis that hurt him also. So, yeah. There will be a Stunted Growth on Kawhi Leonard someday, I'm sure. Stunted Growth is a fantastic YouTube channel. Yesterday, they did Jonathan Kuminga. You can check it out. Stunted Growth, Jonathan Kuminga. What is his problem? There's also a new Stunted Growth that came out yesterday on Sebastian Telfair, former Raptor. And what the hell happened to him? Well, he's in prison again right now. He's going to prison. And it's a very interesting Stunted Growth because they talk about Sebastian Telfair having too many yes men around him. Nobody telling him the real truth about himself. This is something I talked about this week already with Kuminga. Too many people telling you that you're just hot shit and you don't do anything wrong and it's everybody else's fault. Well, that's Sebastian Telfair's story. That's it. You watch that Stunted Growth, you can hear he blamed everybody else for all the things that happened to him, and he didn't take any responsibility for how he got to that point for himself. And still to this day, he blames everybody else. And, well, he's going to prison. He's going to prison. And, well, that's just it. But, yeah, check out Stunted Growth. It's a great channel. They will probably do one on Kawhi specifically at some point. They've done the Clippers in this era. They talked about why they sucked since they got Kawhi, but they haven't specifically done one just on Kawhi as an individual. And I'll be looking forward to that. That'll be closer to when he's about to retire. It'll come out then. Watch. Yeah, it'll come out there. Yeah, I think he would have been having better outcomes here. Oh, yeah. I think that all right, listen, if he had stayed for the second year, we probably would have repeated. Seriously. That bubble championship and the way things went, we would have beaten Boston and gotten past that 7-game series with Kawhi Leonard on our team. We know this. It was that even. If you just put Leonard on the team, we would have been over the top over Jalen and Jason and the Celtics in the bubble in that 7-game series. And then, after that, there were really weak opponents. I mean, who was it? It was Miami versus the Lakers in the finals that year. And both those teams were kind of ass. So, yeah, I believe that Kawhi had just stuck around for one more year, even though he said he didn't think he could win it with the collection of guys we had. You're so stupid, man. You're so dumb. Yeah, we could have, and we would have probably. Because Mark and Serge were still here. Kyle was still here. Norman was still here. The only guy who had left would have been like Danny Green, maybe. And you were the only two that left from the championship team. So, yeah, Kawhi, you could have fucking stayed and gotten a second Larry O'Brien in Toronto the second year, even with the pandemic. Yeah, you could have. You could have. I mean, we had the best record in the league when the pandemic happened. And, you would have been on the best team in the league and you weren't even playing for us. You would have just added to it. Oh, my gosh. Yeah. Seymour saying, but his choice of returning home has ruined that look. Yeah, it was really dumb. He rushed to go home. He should have realized the stop in Toronto needed to be a couple more years. He should have realized that. He really left something there. It's like leaving food on the table. It's like leaving money on the table. He just left something there that he could have just collected. It was right there for him to have it. But he walked away from it. And in some ways, he didn't enrich his life better for walking away from it. In some ways, that's a part of it right there. Even Mick Foley's commented on this. The great Mick Foley, a.k.a. Cactus Jack, a.k.a. Mankind, a.k.a. Dude Love. He said, I can't believe that Kawhi left Toronto and went to the Clippers. He had the admiration of a whole entire country behind him. And as a wrestler, when you have that kind of power with a population, you need to embrace it and really covet it and cherish it and take care of it, because that's the kind of shit Hulk Hogan made his legend on. That's the kind of shit that The Rock made The Rock. That's the kind of shit that Bret Hart understands very, very well. And it's like, you don't disrespect crowd heat and fandom and people feeling passionately about you. And Mick Foley couldn't believe that Kawhi Leonard walked away from that. He had it here in Toronto for the whole damn country. The whole country here was with Kawhi. And Mick said, I can't believe he turned his back on that and walked away from that. In some ways, he's so stupid for that. Seriously. He's really, really dumb. It was low IQ move. It's really dumb. Yeah. Naco the Nacho's here. Bobby. Okay, Naco has taken a break from all the concerts he's been going to, doing a little bit of comedy here and there, a couple of stand-up sets here, and Naco's back. Bobby's world. Hi, I'm Bobby. Bobby's world. Okay, Howie Mandel, don't touch the doorknobs. Okay, yeah. Good morning, Raptor Free crew from the Coach Cool Cat. That's right, Coach Cool Cat's in the house. Coach Cool Cat and I are in the midst of the first round playoff WNBA Fantasy League matchup. And let's go check in on that real quick. Yeah, we had our first night of action in the playoffs last night. Very close matchup with Cool Cat and I. We are very, very close. Like a 7-point lead for me currently. I just barely came back and got over her at the end of the night behind the Canadian the Valkyries, Letitia Emma here, helping me add some time on there to get there. But yeah, very competitive battle with Cool Cat and I. I'm excited. It's fun. Kaz has got a good lead on JP already. He's doubled them up after one night of action. MK has got a 80-point lead over Fiercey. That's tough. Fiercey's going to have to get some good games going this week, or MK's got her. Logical Raptors fanatic with a 6-point lead over Kareem. And in the consolation bracket, it's all about Edmund over James. James, don't let Edmund beat you, man. James, don't let Edmund beat you. I know you're in the consolation. It doesn't matter. But in some ways, you want to do something about that, man. Seymour saying, big up the Borough, Scar City, baby. Yeah, we're going to watch this game. Scarborough versus Niagara. It'll be in Winnipeg. I'm not sure exactly the time and the date. It's coming up. It may be Friday. I think Friday the games are. So, yeah, be ready for CBL action. We'll be watching on our Raptor Freak Discord. That's right. Smooth's here. Good to see Reggie. Really surprised that some people don't realize that Bobby Webster's been the GM of the Raptors since 2019. Even some fans in Toronto don't know that. They thought it was Masai. Yeah, Bobby's actually been GM longer than that. He wasn't just the GM starting in our championship year. I think he started being the GM in 2017, technically. So he's been our GM for 8 years. Yeah, he's been in that position for 8 years. He was the assistant GM before that. So he's actually, I mean, he's worked for us as long as Masai was here. Masai hired him and brought him in with him. So Bobby's been working for us for 12 years plus. And yeah, he's been our GM for like 7 years or something. 8 years. He's been our GM for 8 years already. So yeah, I don't know why these people don't know this. Maybe they don't watch the Raptor Freak channel. That's probably why right there, Reggie. They don't watch the Raptor Freak channel, obviously. Seymour saying, I clued in about 2022 that Bobby was the GM, not going to lie. Well, you know, in some ways, Masai's such a figurehead, and he was the GM. It's just that sometimes, you know, the press releases on front office changes are not like put all over the place and advertised like a trade or all the bullshit about people like Kevin Durant and all this kind of stuff. Giannis sweepstakes. No, the press will just put out one story about it. The Raptors have promoted Masai Ujiri to president of the Toronto Raptors, and Bobby Webster is now the GM. You know, that press release comes out, nobody looks at it, nobody cares about it. They're just like, oh, okay, I don't understand this. That's part of it right there. I mean, in some ways, you know, now you're aware, people. Now you get it. Now you get it. Bobby's been a GM in this league, or he's been in the front office for the Raptors since he was in his late 20s. That's what's going on right there. Yeah. Seymour saying, I gave all praises to Masai, but Bobby came out from the shadows like a real one. Look, they're a dynamic duo. Those two guys were badasses together because they were like a double barrel shotgun of amazing executives, both of them. And that's part of the problem is that Ed Rogers III saw it from the inside as the owner and paying these guys salaries. He's like, well, why do I need both of them? I could have only one of them. I hate the black one. I want to get rid of him. You know, that kind of bullshit. Because that was really kind of the perception by Ed specifically. He said this straight up. He said, I don't know why we have to have both of them. We could have just one of them. We don't need two people to run that job. That he was very much on public record for saying this kind of thing. That was part of when he was saying that we're paying you too much. Because in some ways, there were murmurs and people saying things like Michael Grange, Josh Schulenberg writing little articles saying that Ed Rogers may look at them as being too duplicitous and that in some ways they're not both necessary, that they could pare it down and just pay one of them to do the job. And that's what's happened. That's what's happened since Ed took the power as the person absolutely at the end of the line with the buck stops there. That's right. That's right. Smooth saying, I was talking to an old head in the gym and he didn't know that. I was genuinely shocked. Well, you know, like I said, not everybody's as in-depth as we are. We are very in-depth in some ways here. I mean, if we're going to show up every morning at 9:30 and talk about Raptors, we're going to go over every little thing every little detail. And we're going to be on top of it. Locked on Raptors? No, live in Raptors here, buddy. That's right. Live in Raptors every morning, every day, and going over it with a fine comb. I'm like, oh, okay, yeah. That's part of it. I mean, once again, what do average basketball fans care about in this world? They care about dunks. They care about three-pointers. They care about flashy superstars. They don't give a shit about behind the scenes workings. They don't give a shit about front office moves. They're casuals. They're, that person at the gym, even if they're an old head, doesn't mean that they're paying attention to the NBA like we are. Maybe the NBA turned them off because they're like, fuck, I hate it. It used to be good when Jordan was around, but I hate the NBA now. LeBron's stupid. And then they don't watch it. So why would he know? I don't know. Why would he know? I have no idea. That's right. It's smooth. It's true. It's true. It's true. Okay, Kurt Angle. It's true. It's true. It's true. Seymour saying, remember when we won? Masai was assaulted by an officer, and it was being said he was our GM at the time, I think. No, he was our team president at that time. That's what they said. The team president of the Raptors. Yeah. Now, you guys don't try and misquote the positions. This has been this way for 8 years. Seriously, for about 8 years. It was Bobby Webster was the GM, and Masai was more of the team president. Yeah. And a lot of it is that Masai, listen, part of what Masai did for the Raptors was he set culture, right? And in some ways, setting the culture was a separate job from the actual GM calling the other teams and making the trades and stuff like that. Bobby did all that stuff. And Masai had the vision overhead over all things. And he had a big picture look. And he's saying, this is what I see, the whole big thing. And this is what we're creating here. And he was like the leader. And in some ways, his vision, which he was building for the Raptors, which was the style of our fonts, the We the North campaign, the social justice, just everything about it, like the whole feel of it, and building something that got respect, something that was getting better, and something that was climbing up, and changing the whole vision and culture and what the Raptors are in the NBA. That's what Masai did. In some ways, Bobby was the guy who did some of the moves and did a lot of that stuff. But Masai was working with him. They were advising each other, and they were working with each other very well as partners. So it's weird because, in some ways, Bobby really was the GM. He's been the GM for a while. And Masai was, but because of Masai's basketball knowledge and his scout knowledge, he was still very much involved in GM stuff also. So it's kind of like Masai had the freedom to go and do the culture setting, the scouting, the overall look, the Giants of Africa, the everything like that. Wow, Bobby was doing more of the grunt work for the GM office. And then Masai could do all this overhead stuff. And he had the general vision, and also Bobby had to report to him. And when Bobby made moves, he had to put them by Masai, and Masai had to think about whether the move Bobby was proposing when it was in line with the vision he had. That's kind of the interaction they had, guys. Just so y'all know, it's kind of what it was right there. Smith saying Trevor Lane from Basketball Insider called Bobby Webster the new GM of the Raptors. I had to correct him in the comments section. Yeah. There's a lot of it's semantics. A lot of it's goofy. Just we don't pay attention to the Raptors, so we don't actually know what we're fucking talking about. There's a lot of that. Yeah. And I'm glad you do. I mean, with my autism, I would be like, yeah, that's not right. That's not right, because that's not factually right. He's been the GM for 8 years. Let's see. Seymour's laughing. He's saying Smooth Brown Man, laughing at Smooth Brown Man. Seymour saying ball in the rain is a huge no-no for me. I've seen some of the worst injuries in the rain. Poor footwear. Oh my God. Yeah. Well, in some ways, yeah, poor footwear, it can get you in trouble whether it's raining or not in some ways. But yeah, I mean, it's not ideal. A young man would do. I wouldn't do it now. No, Isaac's very daring if he's going to play out in the rain today. But no, I wouldn't do it now. I was talking about when I was young. And I had no risks of certain injuries because I was spry and healthy and flexible. I'm healthy now, but not the same kind of limberness, So it's like, yeah. Kaz saying, good morning, Lex and Rap Free Crew. Good morning to Trucker Kaz. He's got a good lead after one night of the WNBA playoffs, fantasy playoffs that we got. Let's see. Is there a ref report? Yeah, there's one game today, guys, for WNBA tonight. Dallas is going to be playing the Los Angeles Sparks in LA. And the crew chief is Kevin Fahey. The referee is Benny Maru, and the umpire will be Sarah Williams. So if you have any Sparks or Dallas players, get them in your lineup because they are playing tonight. One game tonight. That's right. Salute to Kaz. Nako's saying if Pascal kept his conditioning, we would have won the chip. I don't know if that's true. I mean, I know I blamed him at that time, and I got mad. And I know I've said this on the channel, but we don't know if that's true for sure. Maybe it is, but I don't know for sure. We'll never know. In some ways, we'll never know. Speaking of Pascal, let's go look at the Instagram stories real quick because there's something Pascal did yesterday that was genius, guys. I need to say that first. First of all, what the hell? OG Anunoby has a Instagram post on his stories right now. What is this? It's like him dunking. He said, hold down the dots and swipe. It's just an OG dunk. It's like New York put him on an ad for something, and then he's reposting it, the Knicks and that ad. It's like, I don't know. OG, you posted. That's weird, man. Why did you post? I'm not used to that. I'm not used to that. Why did OG Anunoby post this Instagram story? That's really weird. All right. Jamal McGlure is putting on blast the CEBL. That's right. I got my shirt on right now, and this is what's on my screen right now is this trophy. This is the CEBL championship trophy with the Maple Leafs all on it. And CEBL playoff basketball is going on this weekend, guys. And Jamal McGlure is asking you who you got. Do you have his team, the Scarborough Shooting Stars? Do you have Calgary Surge, Sheriff Seymour Pape? Or do you have the Niagara River Lions, the defending champions? Or do you have the host team, the Winnipeg Sea Bears, that are hosting the whole event this weekend in Winnipeg? Yeah, those are the 4 teams in the Final Four of the CEBL playoffs. And, well, who you got is what Jamal McGlure is asking. Also, Jamal's pointing this out, and this is important words of wisdom, guys. The All-Canadian Sports Network is saying, no matter the sport or where you go to school, playing at a post-secondary level is something to be proud of, is what he's saying. Competing in the CCAA is an achievement. Competing in youth sports is an achievement. Competing in Division I is an achievement. Competing in Division II is an achievement. Competing in Division III is an achievement. Competing in JUCO is an achievement. It's not NCAA or bust. Do your research and go where you fit the best. I love that message. And especially with more leagues coming out like CBL, there's more opportunities for young people, men and women, to get involved in professional basketball. That is fantastic. I love that. Sandra Mamu is posting on his Instagram this morning, Sade, Your Love is King. That's the song he's jamming to, guys, right now. He's got the Sade on with Your Love is King. That's an old school jam right there, my guy. Oh, yeah, that is. Lindsey Dunn went and saw Neil Young last night in the Chrome Hearts. She just saw a Canadian icon. Thank you, Sirius Canada Music, for such a great night. Neil Young and the Chrome Hearts playing last night. Where was that at? That was at Budweiser Stage. So that was last night out at out at Budweiser out at Ontario Place. Okay, Slim Duck has got a Snoopy and Charlie Brown sitting on a dock, and it says, "We only live once, Snoopy." Wrong, says Snoopy. We only die once. We live every day. That's Chris Boucher's message right there. Cutting off people and letting them live with whatever delusional story suits them best is top tier. And he's got a guy dancing in the river as he dances away. I'm sure this is a great opportunity for Chris to cut off a lot of toxic people that may have been around him in Toronto. Maybe a fresh start. Maybe you won't attract people in Boston that may be bad for you, Chris. I hope not. He was at a concert last night, too. I'm not sure where this concert is. Chris was at a concert. It looks like it was at the Rogers Stadium or whatever the new venue that's up north or something. But the song has a sample from Michael Jackson's Human Nature. So if you guys know who was playing last night, that Slim Duck might have gone to the concert, I'm pretty sure it was in Toronto, but it may not have been, too. But whoever has a sample of Human Nature in their song, I wanted to say it was Kanye or something did that. But I don't know if Kanye is on tour right now. So if you can tell me who Slim Duck was watching last night in concert, that'd be awesome. Elijah Martin posting pictures of him working out in Florida in the gym, putting in that work. I love that. Toronto Tempo president is thanking Vancouver for the great time last weekend at the WNBA in Vancouver game past weekend with Seattle Storm and all that. Yeah, good stuff, man. And Tempo will be back, Vancouver. They're coming back next year. Savannah Hamilton's back on set with Ashley Docking for another episode of Cinderella Stories. And, yeah, they're back together. Savannah's back from her travels, so they can actually do an episode together. And, yeah, let's see. She also went to a concert last night. I think she was at – where were you, Savannah? Were you at the Budweiser stage or were you at the one that Chris was at? I'm not sure. But yeah, she's out in the rain. It was raining a lot yesterday, and they're wearing ponchos and they're out in the middle of it. Norman Powell shooting some shots at some sort of place. Where is that? That looks like a fun place, like the place down by the Sky Dome, the leisure place. Here he's got a brief history of Jamaican basketball. Very, very cool. History is being made, and he's a part of it. There's some pictures from the Chubby's Kitchen event last Friday night where Norman went. He had a lot of good times there, signed a lot of cool memorabilia, and gave away some or sold some really good Understand the Grind Jamaican team stuff there also. Very cool. Young Oach walking around in Europe in the picture on his thing. He's got something from the Darkborn Collective. And yeah, you can tell he's still in Europe. That's European architecture that's behind him, Oshai Baji. And what is he also saying on the second one? Born to struggle, destined for greatness. Darkborn. Limited drops, more products coming soon. There you go. Darkborn is a clothing company, and he's putting it on blast. Emmanuel Quickly, this is crazy. All right, first of all, y'all, Emmanuel Quickly's in Puerto Rico, okay? Emmanuel's gone to San Juan, Puerto Rico, and he's over on the small island country, or I don't know what it is, a Commonwealth. And, well, Emmanuel's got his shirt off. And I'm going to say this right now. He's out in the jungle, and he's running around with his friends. He is ripped. Holy crap. Emmanuel has like no body fat, and he is all abs and muscle. Seriously. You go look at Emmanuel Quickly's Instagram stories, and you're going to find out that man is ripped, and he is ready to come back with a vengeance this year in the NBA. I'm telling you right now, he's got a nice fruity drink in Puerto Rico. So Emmanuel's been hopping around the globe in the last few months on the offseason. And I'm telling you, man, Emmanuel looks buff. Like you know what? This is the thing. When he got traded to the Raptors, he had skinny little arms. He doesn't have skinny little arms right now. And his upper body looks ripped. Like he's shredded. Like he has abs. He has just a 6-pack. He's looking like he's got 8-pack. Stuff like that is what I'm saying. Now Batia is doing his camp this week. So he's got all kinds of campers and people around. He's giving jerseys to people. And yeah, Superfan is putting on his camp, his basketball camp right now this week. So Superfan Nat Batia camp's in full effect. Al Rashamshe is celebrating Cameroon winning their game against the Congo, 77-68. And that was at the Afro Basket in Angola 2025. The top performer was Yves Missy. Yves Missy stepping up for Cameroon in this game. I wonder why Shamshe's not playing for them. If Missy's over there playing for them, why aren't you, Shamshe? Well, maybe it's better that you're not over there right now. But yeah, Yves Missy, 20 points, 12 rebounds, shooting 58% for Cameroon in the victory over Congo. Raptors are putting on blast Garrett Temple for his fits coming into the games. That's always a good thing. And they also put on blast the top 3 assist leaders for the Raptors last year on a clip there. There's Emmanuel Quickly back at his school, his high school, meeting some friends on another account, and he's talking to the kids. It's his basketball camp. I think Emmanuel's got a second basketball camp that's coming up here in Toronto very, very soon, guys. But yeah, there's a picture of him in San Juan once again. Brandon Ingram's posting pictures of Kobe Bryant. And Monique thinks that Brandon is telling us that he's can't wait for the season. I don't know. I don't interpret this way. But I mean, maybe Mo knows something I don't know. But he's just posting pictures of his hero. Maybe he is bored. Maybe he is bored. It's a picture of Kobe wiping his face on the bench like he's like bored. So maybe Brandon is ready for the season. He's itching to get out there. Colin Murray Boyle's saying this on his Instagram. Social media is fake. Please enjoy your real life. That's a good message right there. I like that. Tempo are putting on blast some young girls out at the court, shooting some shots, putting it up there. Future stars showing it off at Nab Batia's summer camp. So Tempo were in effect at Nab's Superfan Batia's camp right now. Serge Ibaka is back in Congo, as we said. Where in the world is Serge Ibaka? Well, he's back in Brazzaville, and he's doing things in the Serge Ibaka Foundation for philanthropy and humanitarian aid. So he's bringing them stuff. What is that stuff? He's got stuff for the hospital, it looks like. Chickens and can of milk. And so he's using his wealth and his ability to help people out. And I love that. That's so beautiful. Serge is a well-rounded individual as far as that. All right, Siakam. This is the funniest thing. All right, I got to give Pascal Siakam so much credit. He's a genius. He's amazing. Because yesterday, he took ownership of one of the most racist things that have been happening to him for years now. He took ownership of it and he killed it. He killed it. You know what he did? All right. Siakam is on a boat in a lake with his brothers. I believe Christian and James, two of his brothers. And he was out there kind of water skiing, or like when they pull the little raft behind the boat and you're like jumping on the water, kind of thing. Well, he's driving the boat, and the caption for his post on Instagram is, "Fine, I'm the captain now." Now, we know what that reference is. We know about the movie with Tom Hanks, about the captain who gets taken over by the Somali pirates. And the guy that comes in and looks at Tom Hanks and says, "I'm the captain now of your ship." Yeah, that movie. I don't even remember the movie, what it's called, but you know the movie I'm talking about. You know the picture. You know how people, racists, have thrown that in comments on social media around Siakam posts forever. Since that movie's been out, and since they made a connection, since they think that Siakam looks like that guy in that movie, Captain Phillips. That's what it's called, right? Captain Phillips or some bullshit. Well, Siakam's owning it. He's on a boat. He's driving a boat, and he's saying, "Fine, I'm the captain now." And he even plays the clip of the guy telling Tom Hanks that he's the captain from that movie. So, you know what? This is a beautiful, brilliant thing in some ways. Siakam is making fun of himself. He's taking ownership of the racist attacks that have been coming at him. He's saying, "You know what? I'm above this. I'm impervious to this, because you know what? I'm in on the joke. And y'all want to be racist and do this shit. Well, I'm going to own it now." And he basically diffused the whole freaking Captain Phillips meme that's come at him for years now, because he's like, "Yeah, I'm in on it. I don't care. You going to fucking send this shit to me? Yeah, I am the captain, bitch. And I'm going to ride around on this boat with my brothers, and I'm going to enjoy my life as a multimillionaire and an NBA All-Star." Yeah. Yeah, that's what he did. I think it's brilliant. When I saw the post yesterday, I laughed my ass off, because I was like, wow, Siakam's a badass, because he's taken ownership of something that was used to try and make him feel bad. And he's like, "You know what? Fine. I'm the captain now. Let's have a joke about this stupid ass racist shit y'all been saying to me for a few years now." Good job, Siakam. You empowered yourself. You made yourself, lighter for levity. And people can't really kind of like come at you in that angle at that point now. You have no power in this anymore, racist, because in some ways, Siakam's in on the joke at this point. You have no power in this anymore, because he's in on the joke. I love it. Siakam, you are the captain of your life, and driving that boat. That's right. Good stuff, man. I love it. That was so hilarious. There's his brother trying to get up on the water skis, and he's hilarious. He keeps falling over. I think that's James. I don't think that's Christian. But yeah, I think he was having a really hard time getting up on the boogie board, and Siakam's laughing at him. He's laughing at him. All right, cool. All right, they're doing the coaches press conference for the CBL yesterday also. So there's your Instagram stories. Yeah, a lot there. Yeah, I love what Siakam did, man. Isn't he smart? He's like, "You gonna call me the captain? Well, I am the captain now. I'm on a boat, and you can't hurt me with that." That's what it is right there. Kaloy's here. Good to see Kaloy. How you been, Kaloy? Good to see you, my guy. Let's see what he's saying here. Oh, Amit's here. Good, because I want to talk to Amit about Globl Jam, because I know that he was in attendance at the Globl Jam. That's right. All right, where am I on the chat? I lost my place. Here we are. Kaloy saying, "Morning, Lex, and most amazing Raptor fans. Good morning to you, Carlo JS, and good morning to Santino." Amit Gaming 2K is returned to the chat. A former Raptor Freak trivia champion. I hope Amit's very good and he's healthy and well. Good morning, everyone. No, I haven't been here this summer. I was very busy, lots of basketball and family. That's totally understandable. I know you've been here in Canada, and that you've been spending a lot of time with your grandfather, and that, you've been at Globl Jam, and there's been all kinds of different events and things you've been doing. I would love to hear what you've been doing, Amit. If you want to tell me about anything about Globl Jam and your experience there this year, maybe how it has changed over the years, because you've gone like 3 years in a row now, right? You've been at it the last 3 years from my calculations. Maybe you could tell me if this year was the bigger and better one of all of them ever. Did you meet anybody interesting at Globl Jam, Amit? I want to know the deets, man. Come on, man. Yeah, you just got home and you're exhausted. Okay, so he is back in Israel, and you had a safe trip back. Okay. Yeah. In some ways, I hope that you're safe. I feel like you would be safer here. feel like you've been safer here. Kaz is saying salute to Seymour. There you go. Ahmed saying, I see we were talking about Global Jam. I was there sitting courtside. Very much worth it. I met some very cool people because of where I sat. So yeah, he sat right up front for Global Jam. And man, I want to hear more, Ahmed. I want to hear more. Come on, man. Spill the beans. Spill the beans. That's right. There you go. You got the Vulcan sign. Hey, what's up, Ahmed? Live long and prosper is what Seymour's saying there. He's a surging shooting star. All right, I'm gonna give you a dunk for that. I like that. Seymour Pape is a surging shooting star. That makes sense. I mean, that's the right combo there. That's your star chart. Is shooting star that surges. There you go. 159 on the dunk chart for our guy Seymour Pape. That's right. Let's see. Ahmed saying, I met Madison Booker, who will probably be in the WNBA in 2 years. She plays for Texas. Leonard Miller. He met Leonard Miller. That's awesome. He's going to be playing for Canada in the next couple weeks for Americup. Isla Swords. Yeah, a very good Canadian female player. Kem Birch. You got to meet Kem Birch. That's really cool. Nabatia. Joelle Anthony. I saw Joelle at the CEBL game I was at. Marissa Russell, Keyshawn George, and Dylan Brooks. Wow. You got to meet the villain Dylan. Very, very, very cool. That's a great list. Of course, Leonard and Keyshawn are both going to be playing for Team Canada at the Americup in the next month. Impressive lineup indeed. This message will self-destruct after you read it. Take the pic of the trophy. Oh, yeah. Mission Impossible. That's right. Amit, when Maccabi starts their season, you need to go to the arena and finish your task. That's right. I sent you the picture of it, right? In some ways, you know what it looks like. So if you find it, take a picture of it, and then we can know where it is. We know what we're talking about here, right? The Naismith Cup. That's right. Ahmed saying Mafando Kabangili, he met him too. Benedict Mathurin, Marcus Carr, Lou Dort, Andrew Nebhart, Caleb Houston, Cassandra Brown. She plays for 3-on-3. Shade Wilson, Yvonne Ejim, and I have one more. Wow. It's crazy. He saw a lot of people. My favorite person, I met Zach Edey, and he made me look like a toddler. I'm 5'11", by the way. Wow. That's a great Global Jam. That seems like, Amit, that you had the most productive, amazing Global Jam, because you did not tell me you did all this the last couple of years at Global Jam. So, wow, he got to meet Zach Edey. Yeah, I'll bet he made you look like a toddler. I'll bet. Yeah, Canada. That's right. Yo, yeah, I like that. Yeah. Fiercey's here. Good morning, fam, and happy Wednesday. Good morning to you, MJ. Seymour's saying Zach Edey wants to be a Raptor or needs to be a Raptor. Someday, I'll bet you that'll happen. I'll bet you that will happen. Seriously, I bet you that will happen at some point. Seymour's saying, Amit, you got the pic? Yeah, I wonder if he's got any pictures. That'd be awesome if you do. I mean, if you feel like sharing them, I know in some ways, I don't remember how old you are right now, but in some ways, if you are still a minor, Amit, I'm not totally sure. You might be 18 already by now. It's a couple of years I've known you. Only share pictures if you feel like you want to. But if you do, I would say share them in our Facebook chat where Monique is there, because I know you're in that chat with us. Or I guess you could share them in the Discord. Either one of those two places. If you feel like doing it, you're welcome to. Yeah. Let's see. Amit saying, Seymour, all the guys I said I have a picture with. Wow. So you got a picture with all those people. Wow. Yeah. Dylan Brooks. Wow. Andrew Nebhart, Lou Dort. Wow. Amit, you got the trophy? No, he just got back. So his mission for what he needs to do with the Naismith Cup is still on. And like we said, it has to happen when the basketball season starts in Tel Aviv. So it's too soon. It's got to wait till the basketball starts. Yeah, great to see you too, to Fiercey. Yeah, it's good. We missed you, man. I know when you're in Toronto, you don't have enough time, or it's a weird schedule and you're busy with your family and stuff like that. So it's, you're not going to show up here. So yeah, I get it, man. I get it. Yeah. Smooth saying, is Norman Powell in Toronto? He was last weekend, but I doubt he's still here now. I bet you he came through Thursday, Friday, Saturday, or something like that. But I don't think he's actually in Toronto still right now. He could be, though. He could be. But he probably isn't. Let's just put it that way. He probably isn't. Amit's saying that Fiercey season doesn't start for another few months. The NBA and EuroLeague seasons overlap. Okay, see? So probably right around when our basketball season starts for the Raptors will be when he may get an opportunity to go down there and check out the trophy case. So yeah, we're gonna figure this out. And Amit, man, you're like our investigator. We need help on this. We just want to know the truth. In some ways, it's like, well, at least we can like shine a light on the location of it if we find it, because everybody says they don't know where it is. I feel like it's there. I feel like it's there. It's that simple. Anthony Parker brought it there. That's right. Seymour saying Lex will remind him. I don't remember the name of the trophy over there. Yeah. Yeah. The Naismith Cup. It's the Naismith Cup because Maccabi Tel Aviv came here with Anthony Parker and they beat us on a last second shot. They took the trophy and we've never seen it since. So I have a very strong suspicion that it's sitting in a trophy case in Tel Aviv at Maccabi's arena. And because Amit said that there's like a ton of trophies and trophy cases all around the whole arena. It's very likely it's just been stashed in there and it's sitting in there right now. And I would ask Bobby Webster, the Toronto Raptors, Ed Rogers III, and Adam Silver to say, hey, guys, why don't you come back over and let's have a game with the Raptors and see if we can win our cup back, because we'd like to get that cup back. In some ways, it's like, oh, you've stolen the Canadian Championship Cup, the Naismith Cup. It's supposed to be between the two Canadian teams, the Grizzlies and the Raptors. That's what that cup was for. But no, we started playing international teams and they won it and they took off with it and we've never seen it since. And it's been almost 20 years since it's been gone. So it's like, we need to find out where it is and maybe revive it, Bobby Webster. Seriously, MLSE. And if it is just sitting in a trophy case, get a friendly game with Maccabi very soon. We'll earn it back the way we're supposed to. Seriously, we deserve a chance. It's our country's cup. And it shouldn't be sitting in a trophy display case in Israel if it is. That's what I say right there. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we're saying saw some posts of him in the city. Hang on. Not sure if they're old pics. Yeah, he was here. He was here. Norman was here last Friday because they had a party at Chubby's Jamaican Kitchen celebrating the Jamaican team's success qualifying for America. And he was there in person and he was signing autographs and everything. Yeah, so Norman's been here in Toronto this past weekend. Yeah. Yeah, Captain Phillips. Yeah, I'm the captain now. Siakam's so cool for doing that, man. That's empowering yourself and saying, yeah, you know what? You want to make me the butt of a joke? Well, I'm in on it now. And it totally diffuses your energy on it. Oh, you think that's racist? Okay, I'll acknowledge. Maybe this guy slightly looks like me, but probably not. And anyway, yeah, we'll go ahead. I'll make fun of it myself. And you know what? That totally diffuses your bullshit coming at me. It's very powerful what Siakam did. It's very, very powerful. I love it. Wayne's here. Good morning to Wayne Strainer, our sergeant at arms. Morning, Raptor Freaks. Hope Hall as well with the Freaks. I'm happy that a lot of the negative things you outlined, like the Pascal story, I've never heard. Yeah, yeah. The thing about Siakam with that, I mean, it's just social media stuff, Wayne. And, I know we're older generation. And, you're not maybe on the computer as much in social media places. But, there's often places where Siakam gets posted and trolls get in the comments and they just post that guy from the Tom Hanks movie. I'm the captain now, because they're just trying to say, oh, you look like this guy, Siakam. You look like the Somali pirate that takes the ship from Tom Hanks. So we're going to make this joke over and over again. And it was all over the place. It's like quite often if something Siakam related is posted, a racist will come and post that picture. So, Siakam said, okay, y'all, fine. I'm the captain now. And he's taken power over it. And I love that. I love that. That's so smart what he did. Yeah, Amit's saying a lot more celebrities this year. Cool. It was bigger and better, huh? Bigger and better event. More celebrities. 2 years ago, I met a bunch of people too, though. Not as many. This is crazy. See, Amit is, living that best life. Going that Globl Jam. That's right. Seymour saying, sounded like you had a great time. I wish I could meet Dylan Bad Boy Brooks. Dylan Brooks is probably a really cool guy in real life. On the court, he's a dick. He's weird. He's crazy. But that's all part of the persona. I know from Chris Boucher talking about him, he's saying the guy's just a really sweet, awesome guy in real life. Villain Dylan's a persona. In some ways, he's a totally different person as a person. He's just a really caring, nice person. It's just on the court, he is a maniac. And that's all it is. That's the change right there. Amit's saying, oh, I forgot. I also met Dwight Powell. Well, did you forget because you hit your head? Oh, bad joke, Lex. Bad joke. Yeah, that's a dumb joke. Anyway, all right, let's do the straight goods on Canadian goods, guys. This morning, I want to go over once again Bar Burrito. Bar Burrito is a bar burrito restaurant that's founded in Toronto in 2005, and they deal with Canadian farms and Canadian chicken that was raised in Canada. So if you're eating at Bar Burrito, it's a Canadian company. It's a 10 out of 10 score on the Canada score. and it's supporting Canada's industry. So if you like Mexican food, burritos, stuff like that, go to Bar Burrito. It's a great, great franchise. And, you know, they've had our Raptors in the advertisements in the last year. Of course, Kelly Olynyk and Grady Dick doing Bar Burrito commercials in the last year. So you can get that Grady Dick special. I did when I went to Bar Burrito and tried it out. And the Grady box, the chicken box, is pretty good, Grady. I liked your little mix that you put together for Bar Burrito. So yeah, Bar Burrito, straight goods on Canadian goods. You want some burritos? Go to Bar Burrito. You're supporting Canada's economy if you do. That's right. There's your straight goods on Canadian goods. Yeah. Ahmed saying, anyways, I'll go look for it. But trust me, I think they would flaunt it all over social media. But 20 years with no picture, I doubt they have it. I don't know. In some ways, I don't understand how you lose it. Now, if it's not there in the trophy cases, that means they left it somewhere just by accident somewhere. But I think it's probably there. And it could be that they don't want to put it on blast too much. You know, there's a lot of trophies there, like you said. And it could very well be there's other ones they're going to brag about and put on blast. But maybe in some ways they don't want to make it too public to be known that the Naismith Cup is actually there. Either way, if you can go through the trophy case and see if you see it and take a picture of it, if you do, that would be awesome. But this is the start of our investigation. If we don't find it there, we're going to go to the next logical place and we're going to try and suss this out. We are like the Scooby-Doo of Raptors land, and we're going to figure this out. Dun, 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 dun. I don't know why I put the Scooby-Doo music on behind me all of a sudden. All right, let me go. Here we go. All right, let's see. Amit saying my WNBA GOAT was too busy to come to Globl Jam. Aaliyah Edwards had 3 days off and still didn't come. She's also been hurt a bit this past month. She's on my fantasy team, so I pay really close attention to her. And she's been hurt. She had a good game last night. I didn't play her though, because it's like, she hasn't been doing totally well. She got traded midseason to Connecticut from Washington. And it's been better for her. She had a good game last night. But yeah, she's been kind of hurt, and she's been having kind of a tough season. Let's just put it that way. Her output for production has not been what I've wanted. Let's just put it that way. I'm keeping her on the team partly just because she's Canadian right now. But in some ways, she's not helping me. She's not helping my team in some ways. It's too bad. Yeah, you wanted your UConn Aaliyah Edwards jersey signed. That would have been really cool. Really, really cool, Amit. Shaq Lindsay's here. Shaq Lindsay, good morning to you, sir. Thank you for supporting the channel. What if the plan is to build around BI and Scotty instead of just Scotty alone? Scotty's being the perfect complementary piece, like Pippen and Jordan type player for BI. That's an interesting way of looking at it, Shaq Lindsay. I think that this is what it is, okay? I think Scotty is the more sure thing on our team. He is definitely the bedrock of our team, the center of our team, the franchise player, because he's more steady. He's more likely to be there for us no matter what. Brandon is a little bit iffy in some ways. I don't totally trust Brandon Ingram yet, because I have to see him stay healthy and produce for us at a high level before I'll trust him. So in some ways, the ideas of adding Brandon to the mix with us is great. But if he doesn't work, let's not get it twisted. Bobby may have to move him and get him out of here for something else. So the roots of Scotty being on this team are much stronger and holding him around here because he's established. And in some ways, we are definitely growing around him and bringing it up with him. But Brandon is a great idea for this. And hopefully he'll work and he'll be healthy and available. But that's the whole thing. Half of this with Brandon is he going to be available and playing? If he's going to have chronic injury issues still and he's not available, this is going to look bad. And some of the things that people are saying about Masai's Hail Mary right now may come true because of that. So Brandon absolutely has to do like Kawhi, get with Dr. Alex and get healthy as fuck. And in some ways, I don't care if they load manage Brandon Ingram this season. If it's very much like Kawhi in 2019, where he's taken a couple of days off here and there, that's fine. Because in some ways, his absence will be good for us to give more time to people like Grady, Jacoby, and Oshai at times. So that's the thing. I think that they should treat him like Kawhi Leonard to a degree this year. because the load management was very helpful for keeping Leonard healthy to get on that playoff run at the end of the year. We try and overplay Brandon in the middle of the year and he gets hurt, and that's a real big problem. So I wish we could say Brandon is this, but we can't say for sure until he actually shows up and shows health and production. Health and production. But I like the idea of what you're saying. And in your scenario, that would mean Brandon is MJ and Scotty's Pippen. Whoa. I don't know. I'd rather go in that route with RJ than Brandon, but maybe Brandon has the higher upside because he's the more clutch finishing kind of player in some ways. So we'll have to see. Let's just see how healthy the team is. First of all, hopefully the team is very healthy and we're at the top of the Eastern Conference. That's what I'm aiming for and hoping for right there. Great question, Shaq Lindsay. Man, Shaq Lindsay's having a great summer, man. Cream saying, did we say fuck Ed Rogers and Keith Pelly yet? That this would be day 53, but who's counting? Who's counting how many days we've been post Masai? 53 days now. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I said fuck you, Ed Rogers. I did not say fuck you to Keith Pelly. Keith Pelly's got amnesty for right now because he made a really good decision yesterday or 2 days ago. So Keith Pelly's getting a little bit of pause in the fuck yous, but Ed Rogers still getting them. Yeah, fuck you, Ed Rogers III. Fuck you is what I'm saying. But Keith Pelly, you get a reprieve for now. You get a reprieve for now, right now. That's right. That's right. Amit's saying, as a UConn fan and a Canadian, she'll always be my favorite. Paige is second. Laugh out loud. All right, Amit, I like that. Let's just see what Amit's saying. If I had to make a prediction about the Naismith Cup, I'd say the Raptors have it, but decided to cancel those games because we got embarrassed by a mediocre EuroLeague team. Yeah, I don't think that's it. And plus, that wasn't a mediocre EuroLeague team. That was one of the most epic Maccabi teams ever in their history. That's the whole reason why Anthony Parker's like a god over there, right? Y'all consider Anthony Parker one of the Hall of Fame greatest Maccabi Tel Aviv players ever, right? That's why. Because that was not a mediocre team. That team was good. They beat the NBA team. That was like the first time an international team beat an NBA team ever in any kind of exhibition ever. Seriously. So, I mean, it's not totally right. Now, the Raptors were bad at that time. They were really bad. This was after Vince left and before Chris Bosh really kind of got established when that game happened. And, we're playing people like Mike James and stuff like that at that time. So, I don't know. I don't think your characterization that your Maccabi was mediocre is right. I don't think that's right. I don't think that's right either about the Raptors still have the cup. If they had the cup, they would just own up and say they have it. Because honestly, they lost it. They could have just gone ahead and done it again the next year, and they could have kept doing it. I don't know where it is. In some ways, it's weird. The mystery of the Naismith Cup is one of the funnest mysteries that the Raptor Freaks are going to deal with, and we're going to deal with it. And we're going to come to the end. If we're going to find this shit out, we'll figure it out. Other people are not going to figure it out, but we might. I'm telling you, Ahmed, I have a really strong suspicion that it's just sitting in a trophy case there. And it's just that they're not publicizing it or letting anybody know. And some people may not just even know. And if people do know, they're like, yeah, don't, who cares? Who cares? It's the Raptors. It's the Naismith Cup. Who cares? It's Canada. That may be the attitude about it right now. I know for sure the Raptors don't have it. I know that it's not in Canada. I'm pretty sure it's not in Canada. If it is in Canada, it's somewhere in a ditch, or maybe it's at a Salvation Army or a Goodwill on a counter. it's somewhere weird like that. I don't know. Smooth saying Brandon, the ultimate high risk, high reward player. In some ways, it's like that. I don't want to say that the risk is high though, but I think the reward is high. I think that Brandon's smart and that he understands right now his best important thing to do is to stay healthy and come back and reclaim his legend as an NBA player. In some ways, the years in the Pelicans have sullied him as an injury-prone player that is just not going to hit certain levels. But he could see what Kawhi did here with Dr. Alex and load management. And hopefully he can have an effect of being very effective and playing at an extremely high level. I want to see Brandon Ingram have his career year ever in his NBA career this year. Seriously. I want to see him have a year, the best year he's ever had in the NBA this year. And we'll see. We'll see if it's possible. His health is a big factor. His health is a big, big factor. He is healthy right now. He's been healthy since the end of the season. We just didn't bring him back. He could have played the last week of the season, but we're like, what's the point? So he's been healthy this whole summer. And he's been working out with the Raptors and Madrid and every single place they've gone to. He's been there too. And he's healthy. He's working with them behind the scenes. So it's not like he's sitting around and watching them from the sidelines. He's interacting. He did the same thing in Vegas too. Las Vegas Summer League. Brandon Ingram was out on the court on the Wynn Ballroom Casino. He was out on the court for that. He was involved. He's been involved. He's been playing with the rookies. He's been playing with Scotty and RJ. He's getting familiarity with them behind the scenes because he has not been hurt this whole summer. He has been available. And I haven't heard any information about him falling back or having a setback or anything like that. All I've heard is that he's healthy and he's continuing to work and he's about ready to come back and reclaim his NBA career from injury. That's what we want to see right there. That's right. That's right. He truly is a next level guy if he's healthy. That's right. Amit's saying Jeff Doughton has landed in Tel Aviv, Raptors legend. That's right. We heard he's going there. So is O'Shea Brissett. He's going to be coming to play for Maccabi too. I believe there's another name that was added to that list too. Yeah. Let's see. Kaloy saying Ingram is one of those examples of a great talent, but was put in a bad situation with his teams. I think he'll appreciate the Raptors because of this. Yeah, that's part of it is right there. You know, we have a very non-toxic environment up here in Canada for the Raptors. And the Lakers were toxic when he was there. You know, the LeBron getting him traded for Anthony Davis. And then the Pelicans just don't know what the fuck they're doing down there. Like that team is all screwed up. And Joe Dumars may be able to help them now. But before, they were not doing things correctly. So in some ways, it is. He said that. He said that when he showed up in his first interview. It's like, it's nice to be on a team where the guys listen to the coach. Okay, that's where you're coming from. You're coming from a team where they didn't listen to the coach. Okay, yikes. That's it right there. Yeah. Let's keep going. Seymour's saying, yeah, we got bar burrito here. It's okay. 6.5 out of 10. 6.5 out of 10. All right. Yeah, I mean, it's okay. I agree. But if you want to support Canada and you want to buy Canadian and you like that cuisine, well, bar burrito is a good choice. That's right. I tried the Olenek combo and the Grady combo. Yeah, I had the Grady one. I haven't tried the Kelly one, but I don't know if the Kelly one's still available. It's in San Antonio now. All right. Smooth saying, I remember Ingram with the Lakers. He just didn't mesh with LeBron, but they were really, really high on him, though. Yeah. I mean, seriously, the guy's got the body of Kevin Durant. Like I've said recently, he may be more Kevin Durant right now than Kevin Durant is. Seriously. You know, what do you expect from Kevin Durant in a player build that he is? Well, you expect things that you saw from him maybe in Golden State the last time, not from Brooklyn, not from Phoenix. No, but that Kevin Durant that was in Golden State that played with Steph Curry, or that Kevin Durant that played for Oklahoma City Thunder. You know, is that the Brandon Ingram we're going to get? A fully healthy, playing more like Kevin Durant than Kevin Durant is at this point in his career? That's what I'm hoping, guys. That's what I'm hoping we could say. And I may actually be comparing him directly to Kevin Durant this season, guys, as far as their stats and what they do. It's a similar situation in some ways. Kevin Durant's going to be in a very busy, crowded team with a lot of different people that are going to score. And it may be that he's not going to be totally the focal point for the Houston Rockets. It could very well be similar to what's happened with the Nets and the Suns in the last couple of years, where he's kind of like, I'm here to help as a safety, but I don't want to be the main carrying guy throughout the whole entire game, you know, because in some ways it was like Kyrie or James were doing it in Brooklyn. And then, Devin Booker is doing it in Phoenix. So it's kind of like Brandon has to share the ball with RJ and Emmanuel and Scotty. And in some ways, the piece of the pie, who's going to average more points, Kevin or Brandon? Let's see. Let's find out this year. So it'll be a good, interesting thing to see the two of them together this year. And hopefully Brandon's very healthy. Wayne saying, I'm manifesting huge success for Brandon, apart from health concerns, which may be exaggerated. He's going to help our well-designed team. All we needed was a surefire clutch player, and we have one now. This is true. This has been something that the Raptors have lacked a lot, pretty much since Kawhi. And you want a superstar tier player that can go to another level in high-pressure situations and hit very big shots, like the shot over Philadelphia to win that series against the Sixers. You know, you need a kind of player that's got ice in their veins and has practiced so much. And there's just OP in a certain way on offense that they cannot be stopped. And Brandon has that kind of stuff in his bag. Scotty is not a naturally inclined guy to take over the game at the end of the game and take over, but he may be at some point later in his career when he's older and wiser. RJ and Emmanuel, they probably have it in them at different levels, lower than the NBA, to just take over games and win it. RJ probably could do it on a given night here and there. Emmanuel could probably do it on a given night where he takes over at the end of the game and he absolutely wins games for the Raptors. But Brandon Ingram is the most likely to be able to do it successfully and more often. And I'm here for it. The clutch factor is very important. Wayne is right. And it's something the Raptors have lacked to a degree since Leonard left. Lowry, to an extent, could do some of this stuff. Fred, same kind of thing. Pascal, but not on a regular basis. That's what you want. You want a regular guy you can count on for that kind of stuff at the end of the game. And hoping that Brandon's that guy. Yeah, Fiercey's got Brandon on blast and the little emoticons. Thank you, Nins, for the emotes. Shaq Lindsay saying, just my opinion, giving up an Indiana first, Brown and Kelly isn't much of a risk, and also signing him only for 3 years. Yeah, I mean, I know that this deal is brought up again because apparently one of the GMs we interviewed was like, oh, that was such a Hail Mary. The Masai went and got Brandon at the trade deadline last year. To me, I agree with Logical Raptors Fanatic that what we traded was somebody we didn't really want on the team anymore, Bruce Brown. We did trade it first, but you're getting a guy who was a former all-star and has so much potential. Kelly Olynyk's near the end of his career. So it's like, okay, we traded Kelly to New Orleans. I agree. I think that the sentiment that this was a bad trade for the Raptors is crazy, and it's just subterfuge because in some ways, some of the teams out there are probably like, damn, I wish we could have gotten Brandon Ingram for that price. And I mean, when you look at what they paid for Desmond Bane in Orlando, and you're like, wow, that's what they gave up for Desmond Bane, and this is what we gave up for Brandon Ingram. Nah, Bobby Webster and Masai Ujiri were winning on that one. Because I feel like Desmond Bane was way overtraded for by Orlando. What was it, like 4 first-round picks or something for Desmond? It's something crazy like that. Yeah, something crazy like that. So it's like, if that's the cost for Desmond Bane for Orlando, well, we did really good with our deal with New Orleans when we got Brandon. That's what I'm saying right there. Yeah, we did really good with that. That's right. Shaq Lindsay's on fire, guys. Fiercely saying it smooth. LeBron only meshes with LeBron. Egotistical and selfish at his finest. That's why he needs his son to keep playing and get better, because then he can mesh with him. Because he's like Bronny is a LeBron Jr., right? So he's like, LeBron only meshes with LeBron. That's why Bron has to be on my team, because he's the only guy I can mesh with. So I need Bronny on my team. Yeah, he's not coming along fast enough. You got to retire, LeBron. Come on, son. Get up, go. Better. Kaloy saying, if there were only stocks to buy on coaches, I'll put my savings on Darko. That stock is going to double or triple this year with this top tier starting 5. Pray for health and pray for continuity and pray for just magical, amazing, awesome things happening with our team chemistry and synergy and aura and Riz and connectedness and happiness. And yeah. I want Scotty and Emmanuel running down a soccer field yelling, go! I want that energy in the games where Scotty's chasing Emmanuel on the sideline of the Raptors court because he wants to hug him because Emmanuel hit a crazy shot. I want that energy. I want that Skip Lee energy. I want that. That's right. We want that this year because the joy and the happiness and the success is raining down on the Toronto Raptors franchise this year. That's right. I like what you're saying here, Kaloy. They did talk about putting stocks on players or there's some sort of weird thing where you can have stocks in players and stuff like that. I don't know. It's weird. But yeah, I agree with you. I think that Darko, some people are saying this is a make or break year for Darko. That if we don't start seeing some of the results from his development and success from what he's building this year more, then he might be in trouble. I don't agree with that completely, but I would like to see him just get the success so those naysayers can just shut the fuck up. And that's what we're hoping. I think it is a good chance that it's going to happen. That's right. Kaz saying, reminder, everyone, Mafuzi Chef has an interview coming out at 11 a.m. with Hello and Welcome. That's right. That was announced yesterday. They got the interview they just filmed with Serge Ibaka's coming out. Yeah. That'll be coming out later. I'll probably watch it at some point. Shaq Lindsay saying all these sports podcasters talk about it being a desperate move by the Raptors, but no one talks about what little it took to get him. They know we couldn't sign him in free agency. They're just jealous. Yeah. Yeah, it was a smart move. And, Rich Paul wanted it too. In some ways, he understands. Like his client, Brandon Ingram, was languishing in New Orleans. And he knows that if he gets him to Toronto, he's going to have a better chance. He's seen what happens here. So in some ways, a big part of it was Rich Paul was like, you need to go to Toronto, guy. If you like Toronto and you like Darko, we'll get you to Toronto because that is a spot where you can revive your career. And you know what? That'll be good for me because I'm your agent. You'll make more money and I'll make more money. So Rich Paul's a smart guy. In some ways, he understood a good career move for Brandon Ingram would be to get traded to Toronto. And I've heard interviews of him talk about it and said, yeah, we were orchestrating it to Toronto because Brandon liked that location. And I was like, yeah, this is a great idea. So it was very much, there probably were different options. Different people were probably asking to trade for him from New Orleans. And well, Toronto was the most attractive to BI3 and Rich Paul. And that's how it went. That's how it went down right there. That's how it went down. That's right. Let's see. Shaq Lindsay saying, we blocked Miami, Atlanta, Brooklyn, and Milwaukee from getting him. It was reported that they were interested in him before the trade deadline. See, there you go. I was just saying that there were probably other teams that were wanting to line up to get him. Yeah. And we were smart. I think that the extension also was really smart at that time because listen, some people say, why did you extend him before you even got him on the court? Well, because we want to lock him in at this rate now because the TV deals and everything's changing. The salary cap's expanding. And in some ways, it was a meeting in the middle where Rich Paul and Brandon wanted the security of the deal no matter what. And maybe they're not going to make as much as if they'd held out and maybe waited a little bit to see how the money changes in the league. But they got locked in at that level for now. And in some ways that benefits him for security, depending on what happens. And it benefits us locking him in at the lower rate as the cap expands in the next 5 years. So there's a lot to like about it if you're a Raptors fan. There's a lot of subterfuge and bullshit that's being put out there that, especially about Brandon and Emmanuel's contracts, that's just so stupid because the average fan in the NBA can't grasp the salary cap and just how huge it is and just how much it's going to expand because Jeff Bezos and Amazon's involved because NBC's back. And there's a real good growth potential for the NBA right now because they are really trying to tap into global markets more and more. And there's revenue that's going to be coming in new ways. And also, that means the more revenue means more money, and it means they can pay people more. So that's what it is right there. And everybody can say, oh, in these terms, this doesn't look good. Well, some of it is on the promise. It's on the promise that Emmanuel quickly will get better as a young player and grow into being more a higher level as a starting point guard. It's on the promise that Brandon Ingram will stay healthy and be on the court and able to be available. So it's part of that right there. That's right. Kaloy's saying, so everything has something to prove. Bobby, Darko, Scotty, Brandon, RJ, Emmanuel. Yeah. And this is the way we build our team. That's why we drafted Jamal Shed. That's why we brought in Fred VanVleet undrafted. Chips on their shoulder. Chips on their shoulder. We want guys that are driven because they've been maligned or disrespected or overlooked. Maybe they've been forgotten, like Brandon. We want guys with something to play a little extra for. They come to the court and they're playing all out because they have extra reasons other than just the money, other than just being in the NBA. They have extra reasons for why they do what they do. Reasons like DeMar and his DeRozan code. That's what I'm saying. That's what we want. Yeah, we have reasons to really need to be successful because in some ways that little troll that lives under the bridge at Rogers' house, he's going to be coming out. What are you guys doing? Are you winning? I'm Keith Belly. Did I ruin your weekend? It would be a little bit of that watching troll, watching from the sidelines and making sure that we're on our successful, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Let's see. Wayne's saying that Kevin Durant is gifted and tall, but it's a miracle he's lasted so long without much muscle growth over the years. I want to see Brandon transform just a little bit more muscle, which helps durability. Yeah. Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, as a guy myself who has a slender frame that has a hard time putting on muscle in certain ways, yeah, there's always more muscle you could get. We've seen how Chris bulked up his body, Chris Boucher. He's gotten a lot stronger in the years that he was on the Raptors. His arms are way bigger. And yeah, I mean, hopefully Brandon is putting in some work on the weights, but maybe not. I don't know. In some ways, his regiment may be to more strengthen his body than actually like I mean core strength, not like muscle strength. Like he just has to make sure his bones and his body is limber and strengthened so that he's not going to have any ankle problems. The ankle problem was the big issue last year. And in some ways he had to rest that ankle so that it could heal because his type is he's a gym rat. The part of the reason why Brandon Ingram's been hurt is because he doesn't understand when to stop shooting and playing in the gym. He overdid it. For most of his life, he's been a gym rat that just 24/7, always shooting shots, tires himself out, does not rest enough. And in some ways, the accumulation of his injuries is partly because of that. So he's had to learn balancing downtime and off time with his insatiable want to be out there playing on the court and practicing all the time. Because that's his DNA. Seriously, when I did my research on Brandon, when we traded for him, that's one of the things that stood out to me is that he's a gym rat and he can't stop but want to be out there and be there on the court. And that's part of the reason why he ran down his ankles. So he has to balance recovery time and rest time with the other time. That's important for him. Yeah, it's interesting. Durant has had more injuries in recent years, Wayne, but you're right. In some ways, he's been very durable considering his frame. He's been very durable. But we can also look at things like our championship series with them also. Seymour saying JaVale McGee might sign with the Hawks. Needle push in the East or nothing. JaVale McGee is weird, man. I never had respect for him early in his career, but later in his career, he's shown signs that he's a good team player and that he does have things to offer. But I think things have kind of passed him. He's a little slow at this point, but he has a lot of veteran knowledge. He can block shots. That's for damn sure. But I thought he already went to China. He's going to try and make it. He might sign with the Hawks. It's not for sure. Yeah. That's not a needle pusher. That's for damn sure. That's not a needle pusher. I mean, he's not going to be more of a needle pusher than Nickel or Kristaps Porzingis, right? Right. That's not a needle pusher. That's like a third center, is what that is. He's probably behind Okongwu, for sure. Yeah. All right. Let's keep going in the chat. We got a few more comments here and we got more stuff to talk about still. Let's see. Kaloy saying, I just wish Rich Paul shut his mouth up about the Brandon contract. No need to throw shade on the team that gave him a good contract. When did he throw shade on us? I don't think he threw shade on us. Rich Paul's been very respectful about the Raptors, at least from what I've seen recently. I have not caught him shading us at all. I think that he just said basically that Brandon wanted to come to Toronto and he helped him get here. And he wanted Brandon to come here. I haven't heard him say anything negative about Toronto with Brandon. Maybe he was open about their decision making. I think that the thing with Common Malawatch and draft day and telling the Suns you're going to get Common and they bypass us, that's more interesting and telling. But I don't think that was actually a bad thing. I think Rich Paul was actually looking out for us, redirecting Malawatch away from us because I don't trust Malawatch. I think that man is actually going to be a bust. And we may have dodged a bullet by not taking Common. We may have very much dodged a bullet. So, yeah, let's keep going. Shaq Lindsay saying they just don't want to see us thrive and be a top team in the East. Yeah, then the powers that be can try and do that, but this is a league of parity, and Adam Silver wants this to be a just and fair league. The Raptors need their fair shot to try and compete and win championships like every other team. So the old NBA may have been more about marketing teams and hoping those teams get to the top. Maybe some manipulation by funneling certain players to certain teams to help them get better. Cooper Flag. And, stuff like that. But the Raptors have shown that regardless of whatever their storyline is that they want to write, that we go off script. And they can go ahead and have their own ideas about what we should be in this league, a bottom feeder, an out of the playoffs team. But that doesn't mean we have to follow the script. We make our own destiny. We make our own outcome. We make a championship like 2019 happen again, is what we're saying right here. That's right. It don't matter what they want. It's what happens on the court. And Scotty and RJ and Brandon and Emmanuel have a lot of power over it. They have a lot of power over it. That's right. Seymour saying, stateside, they have Shaqtin' a fool in our chat. We got Shaq ain't no fool. Give him that man a dunk. There you go. I like this. This is a funny way of giving a dunk to Shaq Lindsay. He's bringing up Shaqtin' a fool, and he's saying Shaq Lindsay ain't no fool. I'm just glad that this flavor of Shaq Lindsay this summer is not Zach LaVine. That's what I got to say about this. I mean, in some ways, that was hilarious that year. And in some ways, I kicked him out for a while because of that, because he just would not let go of Zach LaVine. And I was like, man, what is going on with this? 63 on the dunk charts for Shaq Lindsay on the assist from Seymour Pape. Yeah. I was like, man, it is what it is. And you know what? I just hope DeMar gets things figured out in Sacramento. Like, I don't know what's happening with DeMar. I don't think he wants to be in Sacramento right now, but I don't think they can trade anybody. So things are just the way they are. It's kind of crazy. Kaloy saying this: these fools just don't use their imagination. There isn't only one way to build a team. They want teams to only pay players after they've proven themselves. Pay players after they've proven themselves. Yeah, I mean, once again, they're discounting everything we do, and they're going to say we're crazy and we over embellish and overvalue people. Well, there's somewhere in the between. We may overvalue slightly, but you guys are undervaluing us way more than we're overvaluing. And I would say I'm more accurate than the people that downgrade the Raptors. Now, there is a bit of a change around social media where people are starting to wake up and say, wait, whoa, I'm looking at the Raptors on paper, and they look like that might be really good this year, and the East is weak. And some people are waking up to it. Some NBA experts are actually coming around saying, I think the Raptors are going to surprise people this year. And they're going to do this, and they're going to do that. Some people are waking up and figuring it out. But a lot of the old guard, the people that don't want to see us be successful, they're like, no, I'm not listening. And they don't want to see the truth. So, but some are starting to see it, and they're starting to say it out there. You know, Michael Pena or something like that, who does a podcast, he's very much championing the Raptors on his show, saying that he really does believe in us. He believes in Scotty, and he believes in Darko and what we're doing right now. That's right. Fiercely saying that Keith Pelly impersonation is iconic. I think it's a nice little add-on to the show. And I mean, it's justified. This is what we do. This is what comedians do, right? They're supposed to punch up at the powers that be. If you're punching down on immigrants and you're punching down on trans people, you're a bully. You're not a funny person. You're an asshole. You're supposed to make fun of the powers that be. So if you're making fun of Trump, if you're making fun of, Ed Rogers and Keith Pelly, that's punching up. And that's the right way to do it if you're going to be satire, if you're going to be parody, if you're going to be making fun of people, if you're going to make jokes, you better be punching up at the powers that be and not at the poor, sad people that are getting humiliated and treated very poorly right now. No, that's just bullying, and it's evil. And it's fucked up. People that are making memes, that are making fun of ICE raids and stuff like that, you're a deplorable, inhuman kind of pieces of shit is what you are, is what I'd say to those people. So make sure you're punching up. And I'm punching up at Keith Pelly and Ed Rogers III, a monopolistic cable magnate who's a fucking piece of shit. Fuck you, Ed Rogers. That's right. There you go. Let's keep going. Okay, hang on. Did it jump ahead and I just missed something? Okay, yeah. Kaloy saying, but the Raptors go at it in a different way. We are trying to predict the future stars and paying them an okay contract before they fully bloom based on an aptitude and skill. Yeah, and this is Emmanuel Quickley right here. What you're saying right here, Emmanuel's going to earn his money. Everybody who says that Emmanuel contract broke the NBA, you're stupid. Listen, Emmanuel Quickley is not that far from becoming Tyrese Maxey. And when he becomes more like Tyrese Maxey, everybody's going to be like, oh, no, Emmanuel deserves the money. He's young. This is the other thing people forget. Most of the Raptors core is young. Emmanuel's 26, but he is very young still. He's a young 26, and he's going to grow into this in the next couple of years. Watch. He's just been a starting point guard for a couple of years, and he had an injury year last year. So he got a little stifled. This year, he's coming back. He looks stronger than ever. I seen him. He's in Puerto Rico. He looks stronger than ever, literally. Right now. That's right. Seymour saying Ocho Cinco. You're talking about Chad Johnson? Went off on BI saying he abandoned the culture by playing for the Canadian team and leaving $40 million on the table. New Orleans offered Brandon $160 million. He signed with us for $120. Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson. What the fuck are you talking about the NBA for, bro? Seriously. What the fuck are you talking about the NBA? Talk about the NFL, motherfucker. What the fuck are you talking about this, man? Ocho Cinco, the arrogant motherfucker who put the name Ocho Cinco on the back of his jersey instead of Johnson. Yeah, I like Chad Johnson. I used to root for him. I used to have him on my fantasy football team. But he's stupid on this. This is xenophobia, man. I didn't know you were like that, Chad Johnson. Why can't he come play in Canada if he wants to? Maybe he hates Trump. Maybe he doesn't care about that extra 40 million that New Orleans want to give him. Maybe he saw it's going nowhere. I could get paid more, but I'm gonna be miserable here. Maybe money isn't everything for Brandon Ingram. Maybe him reclaiming his NBA career and making himself an all-star again. He sees a brighter future in Toronto than New Orleans. So yeah, Chad Johnson, don't get it twisted. You think he's a turncoat for going to the Canadian team? Well, if he starts being successful and kicking some American team's ass on the Toronto Raptors, maybe you're right. Maybe he will feel like a turncoat to you because he's kicking ass up here just like Kawhi Leonard did before. That's right. That's right. That's ridiculous. Ocho Cinco, you're an idiot. You're an idiot, man. 85. Come on now. 86, 85. That's what I say. Let's see. Blackhawks saying front office is not just doing that, Carlo JS. They are sending the message to players. Hang on, it jumped ahead. That they will they will pay to get them in Toronto as long as they are serious. Front office paid IQ because they believe he's about his craft. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I've always said this. You don't pay guys before they show up. You know, in some ways, Gary Trent got a contract for us before he showed up for us. And I, at that time, was like, whoa, you give him it. And Brandon's a little bit same. You know, Brandon's getting paid by us with an extension without even showing up and playing on the court. In some ways, it's partly just because of the special player that he is and his history as a player already, you know. But in some ways, I've never agreed with giving people money up front. They have to earn it. You know, Siakam, Fred, Norman, all these past Raptors that are earning buku bucks, they earned that shit the hard way, and they deserved it. OG, yeah, they deserved it. But in some ways, I don't like paying people ahead of time before they actually earned it. And that's something that the Raptors try not to do. They try not to do it. Some cases they do it. And this Brandon case is kind of like that. The Gary Trent Jr. case before was like that too, to an extent. Let's see. Wayne saying JaVale McGee was laughed at by people like Shaq. But if memory serves me right, McGee has a few rings. Bench guy who got contributory minutes. Yeah, I don't know how many rings he's got, but let me go look. Let me go look at that real quick. JaVale McGee. Yeah, he might have got. I know he got maybe one with the Lakers, right? Then he went on the Lakers in 2020. I want to see. Let me go look at this. Championships. 3 championships. Holy crap. So he won twice with the Warriors in 2017 and 18, and he was on that Lakers bubble team also. So yeah, okay. So he has 3 rings, and Wayne is exactly right. Exactly right. There you go. I think that's the same amount of rings that Shaq has, right? Does Shaq have 3 or 4 rings? I know he got one in Miami, and then he got at least 2 with Kobe, something like that. I don't know. Blackhawks saying IQ to the front office is not a John Wall or Bradley Beal. IQ's injuries have been unfortunate, but front office has been here before when Pascal injured his groin, so there's optimism that IQ can produce. Yeah. Okay. Stargate saying the Raptors are going to make Kendrick Perkins look real good at the end of the season. He's going to remind everyone what he predicted about the Raptors at the draft. Yeah. Yeah. They're going to make me look good. They're going to make Kendrick look good. They're going to make people that believe in the Raptors this year look good. Oh, yeah. And all the people that said all the bullshit about the Raptors, well, they won't be remembered. They'll be like, oh, yeah. And they won't even own up to it. You can come back with the receipts and say, yeah, this is what you said about the Raptors last summer, and look where they're at. And they're more likely to be like, okay, yeah, I said that. Who cares? And it's like, yeah, who cares? It's like we can throw those receipts in people's faces, Brian Winders, Tim Bontemps, you motherfuckers. You know, we'll throw those receipts in your face next year when the Raptors are a playoff team and at the top of the East. We're going to do that. Yeah, I won't forget. I'll bring it up, and I'll tell them, and I'll praise Kendrick Perkins for believing in us. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying, I can see Oshai being the 6th man off our bench. Toronto's going to feature him a lot before the trade deadline. Oshai will get minutes over Dick and Jacoby. That could be very possible. That may be true. In some ways, Oshai is a nice a balanced player between offense and defense, that if you're going to bring him in, there's different things. He could get a little bit of information from Darko coming in on what is his emphasis for that stint. And he's got a couple different things he could do. Darko could say, yeah, we started this game kind of rough defensively. Can you really focus on point of attack defense in the midcourt, Oshai, and really, really bug the ball defender to try and get the ball loose? He can do that. Or, hey, we need you to be aggressive and transition and going to the basket and your excellent transition game and getting easy baskets for us going the other way. Or we need you to hit some threes. There's a couple of different ways Darko can kind of orient Oshai Agbaji when he's coming in off the bench to help what we need in that moment. He's versatile in that. And I think Shaq Lindsey is exactly right. In some ways, it would be very smart for the Raptors to showcase and really give some time to Agbaji this year in the possibility that they might want to flip him and trade him at some point, either in the trade deadline or in the summer next year. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see. And that may be true that he's getting time over Dick and Jacoby. But I'll bet you Grady's going to be getting in there and Jacoby will get in there also. But they may be, I don't know. I don't know what the hierarchy is going to be. And it could be very much on biorhythms and feel by the coaches and what they're seeing in practice. It could be one day they're like, wow, Jacoby's really in a flow. He's in a zone. And all of a sudden, he's the sixth man coming off the bench first for the starters. It could be one day Grady's on fire. Grady's hitting everything in the last couple of days. Put Grady in right away. Because that's a lot of the information about rotation that happens that we don't see is the assistant coaches and Darko are analyzing the players in practice and just kind of looking at them, even in shoot around, even in different places. And they're kind of like, okay, yeah, I can tell that, Grady's got it going right now. He's got that right energy, and let's play him extra minutes tonight. So there's a lot of those decisions will get chosen by that sometimes. Kaloy saying with Fox getting $60 million per year, and we have BI for $40 million per year for 3 years. Put that with the other starting 5 contracts. We have 3 to 5 years of high level play with this core. Yeah, it's something people are not saying on the down low. It's easy for them to take the whole total salary of our starting 5 and say, oh, it's so high and it's too much. We do have a top heavy salary with this 5, but it's evenly distributed between the 5 of them to a degree. And also, once again, we're not above the apron that much. The incentives will get us underneath it. We're not one of these teams that is over the second apron and really in a bad place. I don't understand why they talk about our money and our money situation so much, because they want to gaslight Raptors fans into having kind of scaredness about money issues. And it's not really an issue at all. It's all made up bullshit. Raptors fans should not be worried about the salary cap. Raptors fans should not be worried about the apron. Raptors fans should not be worried about what they're doing. And Bobby Webster's the best capologist in the NBA right now. And he knows what he's doing. So just fucking trust Bobby is what I'm saying. Yeah, $60 million a year for De'Aaron Fox. That's ridiculous. He broke the league. What are they doing in San Antonio? They broke the league with a $60 million contract for De'Aaron Fox. He's making $60 million a year. A year? That's $20 million more than Brandon Ingram. He's not better than Brandon Ingram. What the hell is this? De'Aaron Fox is worth $20 million more a year than Brandon Ingram? Oh my gosh. See, I can start throwing that shade the other way. Start that kind of bullshit stuff that people say about us right now. De'Aaron Fox for $60 million? That's an overpay. It is. I mean, me saying it, that sounds so true, doesn't it? $60 million a year for De'Aaron Fox is an overpay. I'm sorry, that man has not been a winning player yet this year in the league. He's not been a winning player. He was not a winning player in Sacramento, and I don't even know if he had that huge of impact when he came to San Antonio last year. So it's like, that's crazy. So we say, why is Chad Johnson talking about BI? I think it's because he just has a general sports podcast, and he talks about whatever he feels like talking about, I guess. Let's see. Roger Raymond's here. Good morning, Roger Raymond. Thank you for being a channel member. I appreciate your support. Good morning, Lex and the formidable Raptor Freak family. Great point about the use of satire to punch up at the powerful and not down the poor of the weak. Yeah, this is something that people need to realize this. If there's MAGA comedians that think they're so funny and they're going to make fun of immigrant families getting torn apart and babies crying and like people being put in jail cells and all this crazy shit, people arresting people as they come to jobs or they're coming to their immigration hearing and the ICE are arresting them in the hallway before they're coming to a legal hearing to become a legal citizen and they're arresting them. There's no rhyme or reason. And there's all kinds of crazy shit. They're detaining representatives in the state capital of Texas right now because they want to detain them. It's like, it's a fascist country, man. There's no freedom down in the United States. And we need to punch at the fascists. You don't punch at the victims. You don't punch at the people that are being subjugated by the fascism. Yeah, that's not good comedy. That's just bullying, and that's just dark, evil, satanic shit. If you're into that kind of comedy, if you get glee off of the screams of women and children and terror because of ICE agents and their fuckery right now, acting like Gestapo, you're a fucked up person and you need help. And you probably needed more love in your life because you've turned into a monster, is what I would say to those people. Yeah, yeah, there you go. Boom goes the dynamite. Drop the mic, Lex. So he's saying, I know he finished his career playing with the Montreal Alouettes in CFL. I remember that. Yeah, Ocho was up here for a little bit. So what the fuck's your problem with Canada? Why can't he come play for the Canadian team, Chad? Seriously. Chad, why can't he come play for the Canadian team, Chad? You come play for the Canadian team, motherfucker. You play for the Alouettes, bitch. So why can't Brandon come play for us? Oh, because you know he's that good. And he's bringing a power to our team. Oh, okay. Is that why? He's like, oh, he's a turncoat because he's bringing his power to Toronto. Oh, my gosh. Shaq Lindsay saying it's unfortunate, but unless Oshai is willing to take less, it's going to be hard to keep him. Plus, Jacoby is just as good, probably better. No, there's a log jam at that position. There just is. This year is a tryout year. This is like a Canadian Idol for the position of 3 on the Toronto Raptors. And there's a lot of contestants. Ooh, ooh, whatever that idol sound is or whatever. Yeah, that's what's happening. It's like Jacoby, Grady, Oshai, Colin Murray Boyles, RJ Barrett. You know, these guys are all right around the same position, and it's a logjam. And in some ways, some of it will be sussed out by who's available on a given night, because some people may be hurt on the down low a little bit and they can't play. Opportunities, you know, durability would be good. And whoever's going to shine and show development, in some ways, it's a double-edged sword. You shine too much, well, you might be on the trading block. If you don't shine enough, well, you might be on the trading block too. There's a balance to it all. And this season, part of it is Darko's got to be really, really smart about how he balances this situation I'm talking about right now and getting the best out of him. This may be part of what they're judging him on is, are you going to use this stacked roster that's deep effectively and making the right rotation decisions for the right people on given nights and given times so that we optimize our ability to win? And that's what he has to do. And in some ways, it's going to be tough because he has options. He has options. In some ways, it's easy to coach a team if you just have 8 guys that are good and you just play your rotation. Those are your 8 guys. But when you have like a 12 deep to 15 deep roster, you start talking about Elijah Martin, Chucky Hepburn, or not even talking about our rookies, Colin Murray Boyles. You're going to have to make tough choices. And some guys are going to get TMPs and some guys are going to get to play. And, you know, making those decisions will reflect on how you're doing as a coach. So this is going to be very interesting. I have full confidence that Darko's going to juggle all this and get it exactly right. So we'll see. There will be mistakes, though, at times, because coaches aren't perfect. And there will be decisions that aren't the right ones. But for the most part, hopefully he's making the right decisions and we're winning a high percentage. That's a big part. Some of it is our win percentage. And we come into the league in this season, and you know, we're a 500 team or a below 500 team to start. There's going to be a lot of noise of bullshit we're going to hear. There's going to be a lot of noise of bullshit right out of the start. They may take a chance. It may take a little bit for them to get established and get into groove if it's not smooth right from the start. Now, we could come out gangbusters and win like our first 4 games of the season. Everybody's going to feel real good. We've got to be in the middle. We got to be in the middle. In some ways, it's like, not that we mean be 500. It's just that we can't get too high about early success, and we can't get too low if there's a not good success, if there's failure at the beginning too. The press is going to overreact either way. They're going to look at the first 10 games of the season for the Raptors and look at how many we won, and they're going to either overreact one way or the other. They will, trust me. But it's not a good enough sample, and the whole season is a journey, and the Raptors will get better and better as the season goes on. But I'd like to see them come out and be above 500 team in the first 20 games of the season, because that will shut a lot of dumbass people up. It really will. If they have issues and they're around 500 or just below, there will be the bullshit artists talking their shit. Is kind of what I'm seeing. So Neil saying Darko will have an early substitution to balance the team. That early substitution is key to the front office's long-term strategy. Well, it's helpful to keeping high energy on defense and keeping us fresh to be doggedly dogging them with our crazy ass energy on our defense. So it is necessary that he makes substitutions often and he keeps guys fresh. I don't want to see any crazy shit where you're playing a guy for 10, 12 minutes straight. You can have a good bench and bring guys in and out. You play guys for long stints, even if they're playing really well, you may burn them out for the whole rest of the game. And I've seen that kind of stuff with Scotty at times, where he may play a huge long stint in the second half, and in the second half he's not as good because he really spent himself in that period of the long stretch. So I like shorter shifts with a 10-man rotation to balance and keep the very, very fresh attack on the ball at midcourt, because that's going to be a calling card for us this year. And we want it to be fresh for the whole 82 game season. Well, let's keep guys fresh by substituting them often and paying attention to when guys are lagging a little bit and maybe holding their knees at the free throw line. That's what I say to that. Yeah. Yeah. Let's see. Kaloy saying, yep, I hope Darko plays 10 to 12 players per game like OKC. I don't see 12. I see 10, though. I see 10, and very rarely 11 or 9. Very rarely. I think 10 is going to be the normal number for Darko. 5 starters and 5 reserves. And those 5 reserves will alternate on certain nights because there's more than 10 guys on our team that should be playing. Jonathan Mobo may not be playing very much on the Raptors this year, guys. His appearances on the Raptors main squad may be certain reasons. Maybe people are missing. Maybe there's a lack of depth at the front court, and then we need him to come in and take care of some stuff for us in that way. But I fully expect, once again, Ulrich and Jonathan to have to play a lot of 905 this year because the minutes are not going to be on the big squad for them. It may be that Jonathan plays less on the Raptors this year than his rookie year because it's so crowded for the Raptors this year. Yeah, Shaq Lindsay saying, laugh out loud, who is Zach? I only like the name because he sounds like Shaq. Shaq. Who is Zach? Oh, yeah, Zach LaVine. That's why I was joking, man. At that time, I remember you kept bringing up Zach LaVine. I was like, man, we don't want Zach LaVine in Toronto. No, we can't do this. We can't do this. He kept bringing him up. And I was like, oh, my gosh, he's driving me crazy. And I remember Monique got fed up at one point. She was really mad at Shaq Lindsay. She's like, why does he keep bringing up Zach LaVine? And she kind of made a big deal out of it. And I was like, man. But either way, I mean, I know your intentions were in the right place. You wanted us to get a talent player that you liked, and you thought that he would be a good fit for us. But I kept telling you, it's like, no, this is not a good idea. This is not a good idea. Zach LaVine's a good dunker. Zach LaVine's a good scorer. He's a great athlete. But in some ways, he's not a winning player. Once again, that's something I'm going to say. Winning players have a certain DNA, a DeRozan code, a certain kind of way that they carry themselves. Jamal Shed, Emmanuel Quickley, Kyle Lowry, Fred VanVleet, these are winning players. And some players, even if they're talented, they're really good scorers, even if they are good NBA players, they're not winning players. Carmelo Anthony was not a winning player in the NBA, and he's decorated and loved by everybody, but he was not a winning player. Let's just put it that way. His kind of game did not add up to winning championships and being a winner. That's what we want. We want winning players. I don't give a shit if you're Bradley Beal. If you're going to be who you are, Bradley Beal, you aren't going to win jack shit. You're not a winning player. You can go ahead and get players like Bradley Beal on your team. I'm so happy we got Bradley Beal in LA, but he's not a winning player. That's the thing. There's a difference between winning players and players that aren't winning players. And sadly, Zach LaVine has not proven that he's a winning player in any of the spots he's been in, whether it's Minnesota, Chicago, or Sacramento. Wasn't he on another team too? He's been on a couple teams. Yeah. Let's see. Kaloy saying, imagine that $60 million for Fox, and then you will have Wemby and Castle, not Castleton, contracts. Wouldn't that situation be worrisome? Yeah. That's why I'm like, whoa, y'all really paid a lot of money for De'Aaron Fox this summer. How's that going to fit with the jigsaw puzzle when Wemby and Stephon Castle, and Dylan Harper, and Carter Bryant, and these young guys are coming up? They're going to need their slice of the pie too. That's crazy money for De'Aaron Fox. And in some ways, a lot of Spurs fans in their nation have been already talking, we got Dylan Harper now. Why do we need De'Aaron Fox now? And they're kind of mystified by the extension that got signed this summer. Because in some ways, they'd like to go with the youth movement. As much as they were so happy they got De'Aaron Fox last year, they're already kind of like, yeah, let's move on from him and move on with this youth group with Castle and Harper instead of Fox. Because there is a little bit of a logjam. Those are 3 premium guys, right, at that position. And, there's not enough room or playing time. There's only one ball. One of them's going to have to go. That's right. That's right. Kaloy's saying also, at least with the Raps, we have all of our starting 5 taken care of and adjust accordingly. Yep, yep. Fox with Wemby doesn't scare me. No, I don't think De'Aaron Fox is that scary as a player at all. In some ways, he's very John Wall to me. Let's just put it that way. He's the player type of John Wall. And I just talked about how I feel about John Wall, who just retired. Yeah, Isaac Campbell's got Yak on blast, hanging out in Vienna at the football game, eating the sausage in the fan section. Neil saying Wemby has to be able to withstand the demand of 82 games with bigger players pressing on him. Yeah. Yeah. In some ways, he hasn't had the impact on the league that we thought he would. He has not totally. He's had some impact, sure, but not in a winning way. Not in a winning way. That's weird. In some ways, you would have thought that he'd be a winning player, not like Duncan, though. He's not a winning player like Duncan in a weird way. It's kind of weird. He's like a weird alien. He really is. Kaloy saying, I think the deep reason for this scrutiny is that they just don't believe that Scotty and BI will win. Let's get this season started so Scotty can shut them up. That's right. That's right. Scotty's anxious. He's anxious. He's kind of like, let's go. Brandon seems like he's showing signs that he's anxious to get the season started too. That these guys want to start proving who they are. And, they put a lot of that energy into practice right now and getting ready for the season and talking to the coaches and getting organized. Yeah, they're going to be coming with a vengeance. And we're going to see this. We're going to see this. I think it's going to be amazing. Like the synergy between Brandon, RJ, and Scotty, and Emmanuel, and Jakob, and Grady, and Oshai, and Jacoby, and Colin Murray Boyles, and Sandro Mamu, and all of them. It's going to be fantastic this year. I think it's going to go to another level, guys, because the connection's going to be more familiar. There's going to be more trust. There's more love. And these guys are going to play like a real basketball team. That's the thing. Basketball is a team sport, and connection between your players is a huge part of success. And the Raptors have got that. They've got that genuinely, and not just like on face level, just for the game. They actually really love each other. They're a band of brothers. And that helps the team play better. Trust me. That kind of environment really does help because they're all for one for all. They're unselfish, and they celebrate each other's victories and not just their own. And so a lot of teams are not like that. There's a lot of selfish teams in the NBA where everybody's all for themselves, and they're not actually really for each other. They say they are, and they do it on the court because that's expected. But behind the scenes, they don't actually like each other. Let's just put it that way. New York Knicks. That's right. Let's see. Blackhawks saying Raptors in an NBA team on Canadian soil, period. The Canadian team is Team Canada. Piss off Oshai. Ocho. Sorry, Ocho. Yeah. And Kaloy saying, hell yeah, I think most of the Raptors front office and players are American. Haha, this is just so stupid. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Bobby Webster's American. I think Dan Tolzman's American. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, McKechnie's Scottish, right? Darko's Serbian. So it's like, it's international still. Wayne saying, I remember when Davis and H. Jefferson was playing and pace was so fast and we were winning without Kyle. You're Rondae Hollis Jefferson, Terrence Davis. Okay. When Kyle played, he was slowing down the game, but in a good way. Bench and core may differ. Yeah, I can see this. We want different feels and looks. And like I said, the director is Darko. Darko's going to tell these guys when to go and what to go and who's going to go and how they should go. And that's what the coach's job is. That's right. Stargate saying Jonathan, Jameson, Ulrich may not get a lot of minutes on the big team and maybe more 905. I think that's exactly right. I think that Battle is going to be in the same category with Mobo and Shamshay. And that's fine. Those guys do such a good job on that level, and they will get called up. The great thing is that they all have kind of NBA experience that's growing. There's confidence in Battle and Mobo to play at the NBA level. So it's not like they're coming up as scared rookies. They're coming up as experienced guys, but they may not be totally getting as much experience this year. If God forbid somebody important gets hurt, Jamison Battle can be called up for an extra shot on our team all of a sudden. If somebody gets hurt and we need another big, Jonathan or Ulrich can be called up to fill that spot like that, Blackhawks saying definitely want to see Mobo get a deep run on 905. I want to see his offense open up on the 905. Yeah. I mean, he has more of a chance to develop his offensive game on the 905 level than on the Raptors. There's not going to be giving him the ball in Toronto at Scotiabank Arena. No, he's going to have to be a garbage man that gets his points off offensive rebounds and transition and opportunity. But there is a possibility that if he really wants to start developing some sort of post game or anything like offensively like that, Andrew Jones would be the man who would allow him to do it in Mississauga. Yeah, I agree with that. Randolph's here. Good to see Randolph Phillips. Beloved Raptor Freaks family, blessings. Stay strong on this journey of life. At times, things will knock you down. Get up and keep moving forward. That's a great word of wisdom from Randolph. Blessings of Phillips family, all the Raptor Freak families. That's right. Be like Rocky. It's not how many times you go down, it's how many times you go up. And make sure the times you go up is more than the times you go down. Just one more at least. That's right. I appreciate you, Randolph. Always appreciate you. And I see that you're enjoying my history streams, my posts from 5 years ago during the Raptors bubble playoffs when they were playing different teams in Orlando 5 years ago after the pandemic when they restarted the season. It's the 5-year anniversary of the Raptors in the bubble with the Black Lives Matter jerseys and being in Orlando with the bus. And well, I have my shows that are getting posted on this channel from 5 years ago on the date, and I predict and go over the games. And Randolph's been watching them. He's saying, wow, you really were predicting stuff back then. I was. And that show that you see in the archive that you're watching, Randolph, that is the early genesis of this show. Those shows aren't Raptor Freak streams, but that's the very beginning. It's like the seedling of what we're doing here now. So if you guys want to check that out, check out the Kensington Variety VIP Club and the archive on this channel. You can watch the whole 12 seasons. They're coming out still. They're going to end in September. The final show aired 5 years ago in September. And you will see what I was doing in the early genesis of the Raptor Freak show was the Kensington Variety VIP Club. And then it was a juice show for a little while. The Tampa season, I did a juice show, and that's a weird show. That show wasn't as good, but then it morphed into this. So yeah, it's the different early stages of the Raptor Freak show and what it looked like. So if you want to check that out, go look at the Raptor Freak at the Kensington Variety VIP Club shows. They're coming out 5 years to the day when they come out. Randolph's enjoying them. I appreciate you watching them. It's kind of cool to see a blast from the past, right? Stargate saying, if you notice, most modern day fans always seem to covet those type of high offense, not winning players, the Levines, Trae Youngs, the James Hardens. Yeah. And I'm really feel lucky that as a basketball analyst, somebody who's scouted players for a long time, watched basketball for a long time, I'm able to suss out who's a winning player and who's not. And I know that our front office is very good at this also because they only bring in winning kind of players to our team. You know, in some ways, we're not getting these knuckleheads. We're not getting these young airheads that are absolutely talented athletically, but they're not smart in their brain as far as their life and what they're trying to do and their goals. They're just completely good dunkers or good three-point shooter, but they don't have the other intangibles that Bobby Webster wants for his team. You know, when he was on Hello Welcome podcast at Holt Renfrew, he talked about when they come and they try out these guys and they see them practice, they also watch them on the outside and seeing whether they're rude to servers or rude to people. And they're judging them on all kinds of things, not just whether they can dunk and shoot threes. Are they a good person? Do they have high character? Are they dependable? You know, there's a whole bunch of stuff that Bobby Webster looks at and Masai Ujiri before about who actually is going to be allowed to be invited into the door to be a Raptor. That's why Chris said, if you're a Raptor, you are a high quality person because you don't even get in the door if you're not. And a lot of knuckleheads, a lot of very talented players, but not really smart up here are in the NBA, but they're not on our team. IQ is an important part to be on our team if you want to play with IQ. That's right. You got to have IQ to be on IQ's team. That's right. Those guys are great talents, but they're not winners. James Harden, has he won a championship? No, he hasn't. He's one of the best scorers in this era of the NBA, but he's not ever won a championship. That's a telltale sign. He's not a winner. And Trae Young is his own problem. He's going to be a problem. There's no way, like I said in the last week, Trae Young will never win a championship because in some ways he is the thing in the way of him winning a championship. Because sadly, it is partly because he's just a little scrawny guy. That's it. You know, Kaloy saying, yeah, Mobo is one of the best pick and roll defenders in the NBA, but he needs to develop his offensive bag. I think the 905 will be best for his development. I think it's just he's going to be displaced in minutes to that level. And he should embrace that opportunity. In some ways, Jonathan, you're the first pick in the second day of the draft ever, a second round pick. And in some ways, your destiny to be on the Raptors solely like Colin Murray Boyles is not there. You have to fight for your spot every single year. and carve out a career like Fred VanVleet, like Chris Boucher. And in some ways, the Raptors are an organization that will take care of you and get you there. It's just you have to listen to them and follow the assignment they give you. And unfortunately, with the great talent on our roster being so deep, guys like you and Jameson are going to have to do the 905 slag pretty heavy this year. But it's great that we have a system with 905 in the G League so that you guys are getting good quality experience and time on the court, because you'd be riding the pine in the old NBA that wasn't having that stuff, like Bruno Caboclo. So, in some ways that's a good thing. LaMelo Ball. Okay. LaMelo Ball. Yep. He's definitely a flashy player that's all sizzle and not enough steak. That man's not a winning player. That man is a glorified Harlem Globetrotter that plays in the NBA. That's what I look at it there. Yeah. And I'm saying, yes, I am. I love your gift of prediction. We see it on this show as well down through the years. Lex, you are right most of the time. Great job. Yeah. At that time, I was doing predictions on games. And I'd predict like who I thought was going to win the game. And I'd even put a score out. I'd say, this is what I think the score is going to be by the end of the game, which is crazy. But I did that for the juicing show too in the Tampa season. And during that Tampa season, I got 2 scores almost exactly right. One of them I was 1 digit off. It was a Utah game. And I got the Raptors score exactly right. And I got the Utah score just 1 digit off. How the fuck did I do that? Seriously. The permutations and the possibilities of what an NBA score can end up on. How the fuck did I do that? And I did it twice that season, where I was like just a couple of numbers off of the actual final score. And that's me blindly picking what the score is before the game in the morning. Yeah, it's crazy. But in some ways, the foresight that I have in my life, I do direct towards basketball affairs and I guess global affairs in the world. Trying to see what's going on. I appreciate you, Randolph, watching the Kensington Variety VIP Club. Wayne saying a big plus is if the Raptors roster is healthy, will allow more stability with the 905. Stability will provide much more growth under Coach Jones to focus on. I love this statement. I'm going to give Wayne. I'm going to give Wayne a dunk for this one because he's exactly right. 93, the year I graduated from high school. There you go. You got the 93. Listen. He's exactly right. Part of the problem with 905 success is we have to rob them of their good players for the big club when guys get hurt. And he's exactly right. If the Raptors are healthy in the main squad, these guys will be down there longer and the 905 will benefit from it. He's exactly right. This is a great point by Sergeant Wayne right here. A great, great point. Kareem's saying this. I can't believe ESPN took over TNT and now the NFL network. No more analysis and knowledge and more baseless opinions and hot takes. Well, I have this prediction. NBC is going to show everybody how to do this professionally and correctly once again. The NBC product's going to be so much better than everybody else's that everybody's going to be like, damn, we need to be more like them. And I love what Tracy said. They're saying this going in. They're like, we're sick of the way ESPN covers this. It's so tabloid and full of shit. We want to talk about basketball. We want to talk about X's and O's. We're going to talk about basketball. So NBC's coming in to show the whole market of covering the NBA, how to do it correctly once again. So hopefully ESPN will see like, wow, NBC is way better than us. We need to get our act together. And maybe they'll cut out more of the Stephen A. bullshit. Bringing inside the NBA to ESPN is good because they're going to take some of the time away from Draymond and the other idiots that ESPN likes to put on. I'd much rather hear Charles and Shaq and Kenny. And hopefully they'll take more airtime. But also I worry that is ESPN going to try and touch them and make them more like their existing people? Oh, God forbid. Charles probably wouldn't have it. He'd probably be like, y'all get away from me with these new talking points, ESPN. We never dealt with this at Turner in Atlanta. I don't have to read this. Ernie, tell these guys, these idiots to get out of here. I bet you Charles would be like that if ESPN tried to come in and start trying to produce inside the NBA. In any kind of other way than they have already done it. I bet you he would be like that. He'd be like, get out of here before I put you out a plate glass window like I did a man in Milwaukee once. That's good. I like doing Charles Barkley's voice. It's funny, man. Yeah. I'm all about that, Kareem. I like that. Fiercely saying all these years building about Trae Young, yet nothing happens. Being a Hawks fan must be tough. He's just fool's gold, guys. He's just fool's gold. I'm sorry. He just is. It's tough. That body is not winning NBA championships. Allen Iverson didn't win no championships. Trae Young ain't winning no championships either. I'm sorry. This is a big league. You know, guys who win championships, Wilt Chamberlain, Shaq, you know, people like that. They win championships, but not Big Dummy Embiid. No. W Stream, thank you. Thank you for the cutoff. Fiercely, I need it. I'm 10 minutes over. Stargate saying the 905 may be low-key stacked. Remember, add Elijah, AJ, and Chucky to that squad, and it looks good. Not sure if Eugene returns. Yeah, I'm not sure if Eugene returns either. There's signs that David Roddy will be on the 905 also. You know, we've got a couple of the guys that we signed, like Olivier Sarr. He could be playing for 905 also. Yeah, that 905 team should be very good for Andrew Jones. Luke Wynn may not have to add a whole lot of extra guys around it. Quincy Guerrier probably will be back. Yeah. Evan Gilliard, you want to come back after your great run with Calgary Surge recently? Yeah, Evan Gilliard could come back. Just no Kennedy Chandler. How about you just stay wherever you went, Kennedy? And we'll bring back some of the guys from last year, but not everybody. Yeah, Roddy to 905. Wow. Yeah, David Roddy's probably going to be playing for them. That's the signs that it looks like. He's on the Exhibit 10 with us. He's in the training camp fight for making the main roster, but I don't think he's going to win it. So, yeah, David Roddy is not a Malachi. David Roddy is a power forward, small forward, who's built like a Charles Barkley kind of Colin Murray Boyles. He's a big, thick man who's about 6'5", and he plays forward. And, yeah, he's a good athlete. He played football, and he's also a track star too. All right, let's do this classic card, guys, since I got into the end of the chat here. No, I don't care about that player. We'll throw that over there. That's not that interesting. Yeah, we'll do this one. This one's fun. All right, be ready, guys. Be fast. Be quick. Be quick or be dead. That's what they said, right, Sharon Stone? All right, here you go. Full name answer. You've got to watch them. Be quick or be dead. There you go. Some Iron Maiden there real quick. First and last name only. And there's the only way you'll get the points. This is a fun card. We know who this is. Come on, guys. Who is this? Who is that? Who is that? That's right. Fiercely knows is DeAndre Ayton. I think you've gotten DeAndre Ayton cards pretty regularly here. Yeah, this is the new center of the Lakers. How confident do you feel? That's the new center for the Lakers. It's not negative points. All right, Fiercely. It's not negative points today. Don't worry. I won't do that to you. That was just a one-time Goran Dragic thing. I guess if we see Goran as the card again, you guys may know it's a negative points. Just so you know. You know what? To make up for yesterday, Fiercey, what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you, even though he's normally a 50 card, I'm going to give you 100 points for DeAndre Ayton today, even though it's like he's really, that should have been a 50 card, honestly. So 100 points for Fiercey on the classic card of the day. DeAndre Ayton, the latest add-on to the Lakers, the center for the Lakers. Yeah, Kaloy, you're just behind. The dominating. Sarcasm. Wayne saying Charles already warned them. He said if the Lakers ain't winning, he ain't talking about them. He said, no way, we ain't no fool like those clowns. I love that so much. I love that so much. Yeah, this is what we need. We need people to more stand up for what's right and stop rebelling with the corporate lines of like, this is what you need to talk about. This is what you need to talk about. No, fuck that. Tracy McGrady, Michael Jordan, Vince Carter, and Carmelo Anthony, and Jamal Crawford, and Grant Hill. Those guys are going to be talking basketball. They're not going to be talking about extraneous free agency shit or money or anything like that. They're going to talk about X's and O's. They're going to be talking about plays. They're going to be talking about shots. They're going to be talking about what teams are doing in leads and what they should be doing. They're going to be critical of people for not playing right. I'll bet you they'll do that. I'll bet you Tracy and Michael might be sitting there and be like, and Tracy's like, Michael, what did you think about that? Oh, Tracy, I can't believe that the Charlotte Hornets would do this in this game. I'm glad I got the hell out of there. I would just say this. Brandon Miller, I drafted you. I think you're a great player, but you cannot be making knuckleheaded moves like that. I hope that's how they treat this shit. Seriously. Like they're older, wiser council of guys who've done this shit. Vince, Michael Jordan, Grant Hill. Yeah, and they tell and counsel the product while they're doing the show. That's what I want to see. I want to see the critiques of the players as far as this is how y'all should be doing this. This is where they messed up. This is where this coach should have made this decision. They needed this substitution. Jamal Crawford saying something like, yeah, if I had been out there, I would have done this little move, and then I got around and I make this shot. But yeah, they need to do this right now, the Suns, or they're in trouble. You know, that's the kind of analysis we want. We want basketball analysis, not TMZ dick sucking. That's not what we want. And Tracy and Michael and NBC, they got the assignment and they know it. And they're coming with it. They're going to come with it this year. And people are going to get taught how to cover the NBA correctly. Finally. Thank God. After all this time. Yeah. I love that. Charles, take a stand. Tell them, yeah, no, we're not talking about the Lakers. They are a 300 team and they suck and they're horrible. And I'm sorry. I won't give them that respect. That's right. In fact, Charles, do this. If the Raptors are a way better team than the Lakers this year, every time they ask you to talk about the LA Lakers, Charles, bring up the Toronto Raptors. Do that for us. Do us a solid up here, my guy. And that's the way you fight the power. That's right. Yeah. Yeah. There you go, Fiercey. You got redemption. You dominating the classic card. All right, let me do my tabs real quick and we'll get out of here a little bit late, but that's fine. That's fine. I got to go to the doctor today. I got a doctor's appointment today, so I'm going to get down there. Let's see. Raptors Reddit. Let's see what they're talking about this morning. They got the picture of Storm and Norman in Toronto to celebrate Jamaican national team at Chubby's. Yeah, we saw that. There's a highlight of Scotty Barnes cooking Jason Tatum in isolation. I like that. Pascal Siakam is going to be granted an honorary degree at a special ceremony at UNB McKenna's Institute. Okay, that's interesting. They're posting Mike James on here. I don't know why Mike James is up on there right now. Yeah, okay, that's about it from Raptors Reddit. Just like I'm looking around on there for a second, just seeing what the hell they're talking about. Let's see. Happy birthdays today to Corey Joseph. Happy birthday to the 6 from the 6, Mr. Pickering. Corey Joseph is his birthday today, and he is 34 today. 34 years old for Corey Joseph. And Jared Bayless, former Raptor, from way, way back. It's his birthday also. Jared Bayless is somebody we forget about, right? You guys remember Jared Bayless? He is from, let's see, where did he go to school? But yeah, he was on the Raptors for just a sec. How many games did he play for the Raptors? He played 25 games for the Raptors? No, wait, he played 91 games for the Raptors, Jared Bayless. And he actually averaged his highest points per game in Toronto. 10.5 points per game. He shot 82% from the free throw line, 38% from the field. So yeah, happy birthday to Jared Bayless, who was a former Raptor for 91 games way back in the day. When did he play for us? He was here from like 2010 to like 2012. Okay, so he was in that early DeMar era. Jared Bayless. Yeah, there you go, man. Shaq Lindsay's saying we have to look at the roast around BI when he was playing for the roster around BI when he was playing for the Pelicans. BI doesn't have to have the ball in his hands to facilitate the offense on the Raptors. Scotty, IQ, RJ, and even Jakob can. Yeah, they're all going to be interchanging, and if there's different like passers and receivers, there's going to be flipping all over the place. Scotty may be more of a passer at times and really looking for people. He has great targets in RJ, Brandon, and Emmanuel, but let's not get it twisted. All these guys have a proclivity to get assists, and the whole thing is about Rajakovic's system is working towards the best possible shot, a high percentage shot, the best shot, no selfish one-on-one takes where you're going crazy and trying to beat two guys by yourself. No. They're moving that ball around to find the best possible shot, and there's a lot of different options there, and there's a lot of different passers. So there's a lot of confusion for the other team to figure out what the fuck we're going to do to them to score. It's like the opposite of Trae Young and Jalen Brunson. Teams are solely focused around them, and if you cut the head of the snake off, you fuck the snake up. Well, who's the head of the snake on our team? Seriously, who's the head of the snake on our team? And how do you stop that? If you're going to try and just concentrate on Brandon, well, RJ might be killing you. If you're going to try and concentrate on Brandon and RJ, well, Scotty might be killing you. See, it's just going to be tough. And in some ways, there's not a defensive liability that's really easily to exploit. Some people argue it's one of the two Knicks guys that we got, Emmanuel or RJ. But I would argue the defensive presence of Jakob and Scotty will more than make up for the deficiencies of RJ and Emmanuel. And once again, we have defensive substitutions for those guys if they really are causing problems for us when Oshai and Jamal shed. So it's like there's a lot of really well-built roster on our team, and they're going to see it next year. That's right. Fiercely saying like and subscribe. I love that, MJ. Thank you, W. Stargate saying, but BI is a heck of a passer as well. Exactly. That's the underrated thing that nobody's saying too, is Brandon has averaged 5 assists per game in his career already. He has been averaging 5 assists per game already. That's right. Shaq Lindsay saying a lot of the players on the Pelicans are one-dimensional. Yeah, and there was no organization. The infrastructure for the Pelicans is weak. There's not good support staff. There's not very good brain people in positions of power like the GM. Now there is. Joe Dumars is there now, and he's going to try and fix it. But while Brandon was there, it was a lot of ineptitude. Not very good skilled people at positions in the front office, support staff, and even I would say the coach. Because I've heard that their coach had lost their team at different times. And that makes sense. That makes sense. Their team is also not the best group of guys. I know Brandon liked them and they're friends of his and stuff like that. But honestly, your team was kind of not the best character. Let's just put it that way down in New Orleans. That's right. Yeah, a lot of the players on the court are one-dimensional for the Pelicans. Yeah. Finally, our system is going against the system of OKC, which is SGA dominant. Interesting season ahead. Yeah, I'm excited about it. The schedule has made me very excited because I can see the fun of the beats. And honestly, I'm not dreading this beginning of the schedule like I did last year. I knew last year they were throwing us directly into the fire. And in some ways, I was hoping we could just batten down the hatches and weather the storm. But this year, the schedule is fair enough that we can actually come in and be successful to a degree and have a good start. And I'm expecting that. I'd like that to happen. That's right. Shaq saying BI doesn't even have to touch the ball to be a threat. That's the other thing. I mean, in some ways, he has intangibles around his game that'll help the Raptors win, even if he's not very good with scoring that night. You know, he may not try and take a whole bunch of shots on one night, but he may be a very lengthy defender. He may get some shot blocks. He may focus on rebounding a bit in the game and get a lot of key rebounds for us, maybe some offensive putbacks. You know, there's a lot of different ways that Ingram can help us. And the thing is about him, he's a basketball player. He doesn't pigeonhole himself into like, I'm just a scorer. I'm just this. No, he wants to play all aspects of the game. And he's even said this in interviews. He said, this team is such a good defensive team. They play their ass off on defense. I'm going to have to mirror that. I'm going to have to be out there and go all out on defense. So part of it is like people may expect Brandon to come in and just be a 30-point scorer for us. No, he's going to expend some of his energy on intangible stuff that the team needs, like defense, like getting after the ball, rebounds, all that kind of stuff. So some of his energy may not be totally going focused just to offense. He may be spending more of his energy like Scotty and coming over and help defense or, you know, blocking shots, getting rebounds, maybe even getting a steal here and there, stuff like that. And I'm excited about it. So, yeah, everybody who just gauges players for their points per game, you're going to have to just shush this year because there's an equilibrium. There's a balance with this team, with the talent in the starting lineup. And in some ways that it will dictate who's going to get what points on which night. And don't nitpick if one night Scotty has an 8-point game or one night, you know, Emmanuel's not as good one night. No, don't nitpick and come down on different players. Different players will come up on different nights and they'll have good games. And other nights they may not be as good. That's just the natural biorhythm of the NBA. And hopefully we'll have enough guys each night that are on it and doing good that we win more consistently. And I think that will happen this year. I really do. All right, let me see. Let's see. We're done. We're done, guys. All right, thanks for watching the Raptor Freak stream today, guys. Today we're going over now about how Canada basketball is just on the rise. We've had such great summer of CBL basketball. It's going to culminate with the playoffs this weekend. And I hope you'll join me on Discord to watch the playoff games this weekend. There'll be 3 of them. So I'll probably watch all 3 of them. I have an interest in watching Scarborough for sure, but I also have an interest in watching Calgary and Winnipeg. And I'd like to see them play also. And then, of course, the WNBA just visited Vancouver last weekend in an overwhelmingly successful sellout game in Vancouver Rogers Arena. And, you know, the WNBA is coming to Canada next year. And Tempo have announced they're going to be playing games in Vancouver. This is getting a lot of excitement for basketball coast to coast. You got the Globl Jam that just happened recently. Our friend Ahmet the GOAT was there, and he met all kinds of great Canadian players, men's and women's. And it's just a fantastic event, getting bigger and better every year with more attendance. And it's just the basketball's growing. You know, we don't have anything Raptors right now. There's no summer league. There's no preseason. There's no training camp. Exactly. But the basketball is being talked about, and there's a lot of important basketball going on. The FIBA stuff is amazing too. And people are watching the AmeriCup. People are watching the Eurobasket. People are watching the qualifiers, AfroBasket, and the Asian stuff too. And that's fantastic. So basketball in August is very popular right now, and I'm proud of it. And I'm glad that Canada is getting more and more turned on to the sport because honestly, it's in our DNA. It's in our heritage. Dr. James Naismith. That's right. That's all you got to say right there. All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. I'll be back tomorrow with the Thursday Think Tank. That's right. The phone will be open and you can call me and you can talk to me on the phone. Where is the phone? I dropped it and then I put it somewhere. Now I can't see it. I don't know where I put the phone. Either way, y'all, the phone lines will be open tomorrow. You can call me on the show, and I'll put you on the air, and we'll talk some Raptor stuff. We'll see what the subject is tomorrow on the Thursday Think Tank. All right, y'all, have a great day today on this Wednesday, August the 20th. And believe in your Raptors. Let's wish the best health for our team for the season, and only great success for Darko, Bobby, Scotty, Brandon, Emmanuel, RJ, Jakob, Grady, Oshai, Jacoby, all the guys. We want a success for the whole team. Garrett Temple. That's right. That's right. All right, y'all. Love you guys. I'll see y'all tomorrow. Let's go Raptors. That's right. Let's go Tempo. Let's go Team Canada basketball. That's right, baby.